shedding 6 times. What is going on, everyone? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host, Marcus, and tonight is the inaugural edition of Monday Night Mayhem. Sorry about the delay, you guys. I had a power outage here in my area that I was dealing with for a little bit. Was actually a little bit afraid that this stream would not happen because I did not know how much longer it would take for everything to get booted back up. Fortunately, it didn't take that much long after I had set the stream, and we're here now. And I'm joined, as always, by my buddy Bob from Hunting for Entertainment. And we also have another special guest in here with us tonight, good old friend Dino Spermani. What's going on, fellas? How are you guys doing?
What's going on?
I'm telling you, the man is too sweet to be sour. Yeah, we
right?
had to have a face finally to you, Dino.
Thanks.
That's right, brothers. A little power outage is not going to stop us, brothers, from talking to these kids about the vitamins and the prayers and the elbow drops and the ankle picks of the wrestling industry.
Hogan, nobody cares about your little Hulkamaniacs. It's all about the macho madness tonight. I hate you, Hogan.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, my
Don't
God,
you ever
man.
say you love Miss Elizabeth like that again, man. You lie.
Man, I fucking miss Macho Man so much, man.
Oh, man.
God, man. We will never get another. To me, we will never get another quite colorful character like that. Like they could try, you know, with these gimmicks and stuff. There will never be another Macho Man Randy Savage.
No,
Never.
there won't be, but I will give it to Jay Lethal for doing his little thing that Randy gave him approval for. It was fun when that lasted. It wasn't quite the same, but he ran with it and had a good time.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. That guy, I thought I did good impersonations. That guy is fucking phenomenal with his impersonations.
Yeah.
That Ric Flair segment is fucking gold. Like, gold. Like, oh my God, I can watch that over and over again. And what I love about it is in the beginning of it, when he's going into it, you see Rick and he's just like swallowing, he's smirking at him like he wants to bust out laughing so bad, but he's trying to stay in character and stuff. And it was funny.
He loved it. Rick loved it. You know he loved it.
Oh, he did. He actually had Jay
Lethal
on his podcast talking about it. But it was funny because they had asked Jay Lethal about it. They're like, how did that come about? And they said, was it scripted? And he said, no, honestly, none of that was scripted.
Definitely.
He said, we just went with it or whatever and stuff. And he was like, the reason why we decided to do it is because I was doing impersonations in the back.
Yeah.
And everybody would he had everybody in the back geeking the fuck out over this shit. So they're like, well, wait, let's turn it into a rating. And all honestly, that might be the single best promo segment that TNA ever put out. Like,
awesome.
That was really, really good. That was so good.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Oh yeah. And I will say this, I like what him and Sanjay Dutt are doing in AEW. Like I like seeing them two kind of, you know, back together from like their TNA days and stuff like that. I think they have really, really good camaraderie. Good camaraderie.
Yeah,
all
definitely.
right, fellas. So the first, I would say hour, half hour to an hour, most likely hour, we're going to touch on, you know, Monday Night Raw from tonight. I feel like with a lot of Raw episodes, I mean, you had your bright spots, but then you had a lot of low points, not a lot of good, you know, story or character development. I did like the little video package explaining what happened with Judgment Day. I did not think that you needed to have them come out and explain themselves why they turn on Edge or whatnot. I did not feel like, I thought they played it well by not having Edge come back so fast, you know, sell that concerto, as well as, at least from the rumor mill going around, it's looking like that he's going to possibly potentially recruiting 2 more people so we could have like a 6-person tag match for him to go up against Judgment Day. And me personally, guys, I hate it. I mean, I liked the swerve in terms of the swerve. I hate the idea. I hate the idea because we only got what Edge in this group for 6 weeks, and then you decide, and I get it, Cody's out injured. You need a top baby face, but this is the issue, especially on Raw, that Vince is having. It's like you're not pushing other talent that could fill that void. You have to push other talent to see if they're gonna flourish in that role. And immediately after he got kicked out of Judgment Day, if you went on WWE.com and you looked at the roster, they put Edge in the babyface row of the on the online section, and I'm just like, I get it because he is a Hall of Famer, he is a name, but let's really be honest. I mean, is Edge going to move the needle in terms of like being a top babyface draw? I mean, not like it used to be. Like I feel like they pulled the trigger way too soon on him being the leader of Judgment Day and kicking him out. What do you guys think about that? And what do you guys see for Money in the Bank? And who do you see him teaming up with to go against Finn, Rhea, and Damian?
Well, we'll let Dino start on this one.
Yeah, go for it, Dino.
Well, I mean, if he's gonna come with another team, I would feel like he would probably either come back like we're talking about, maybe with Gangrel. Like if he has that kind of contract where he can go to different companies and stuff like that, which I'm sure he probably has, because Tony Khan's kind of notorious for like giving their wrestlers freedom to do what they want, especially the legends, because he wants them to come in, so he kind of gives them whatever type of deal they want.
Yeah, we might have a forbidden door situation here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then his other, and then his other partner. I mean, if we're gonna go full Brood, I'm guessing we're just gonna try to go full Brood, but we'll see if Christian is gonna be able to do what he wants to do over here in WWE.
I think that would be the consensus pick. We do have to keep in mind though that he would need another female to go up against Rhea. So
I think this would be a stretch, but you know what? Lita does want to come back to wrestle. Lita and Edge had a relationship back in the Ruthless Aggression era.
Bob, I think you hit it, man. I think you hit it, Bob.
Man,
yeah,
and that would be a nice diversion from just plugging in Liv Morgan. I think that would be the obvious choice because of her rivalry with Rhea. I would like that. I would like that a lot because you got Lita, who kind of does resemble that kind of extreme, like maybe not so dark, but you can make that work with her. You know what I mean? And stuff like, I like that idea, actually. I like that a lot better than just saying, hey, Liv, you want to come join me? You know what I mean? Like, I like that thought of Lita joining Edge a lot better. It would make sense, too, because of their history and because of their past. I do think it would be – I mean, I do think it would also be how would Beth Phoenix feel about that. She's another name that could be thrown in there, being that is his wife, and she's been working. She's been talking about coming back and stuff like that. I think that would be too cliche too. I really like Bob's idea because you can be a nice nostalgia act. Like I don't care what anybody says, about, I mean, it was a fucked up situation back then with that whole situation. But Edge and Lita on screen together was fucking money. They were so good on screen together. And to recapture that dynamic, especially so many years later, I'd be down for that. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's hope that if not Lita though, maybe Beth Phoenix. I'd even want Beth Phoenix over Liv. I want to see Liv go in her own direction and leave Rhea alone and maybe rebuild herself.
Well, I'm going to say this from the last 2 weeks. I know it'll be hard now that they're both technically in Money in the Bank, but just the last 2 weeks, I'd say form a tag team with Bliss and fucking Liv. I mean, the way they just were interacting, I mean, you could see some chemistry there.
Them two together, because they're kind of so much alike, you know, they kind of remind you of each other in terms of like gimmick to a degree and stuff. I think those two would be really solid as a tag team. And I mean, let's really be honest. You're not doing, I mean, you're kind of putting Liv on hold, you know, in terms of her super big push. I think they do see the potential in her, but they want to season her up. And then you're trying to build Alexa back up as well. I think that would make perfect sense for them two to be a tag team. And they need a tag team. They need a women's tag team, you know, not just a women's tag team, but they need a women's tag team that's going to be able to move the needle. And Alexa can help, you know, soften that blow from losing Naomi and Sasha Banks. I mean, they can soften that blow a lot. The tag team I really would like to see, but you know, obviously Ronda's a champion right now. I would want to see Ronda and Shayna Baszler together. I think that would be badass tag team.
Yes.
But then we're also going to deal with one thing, and I'm going to get a lot of hate from everyone. Shayna's a far better fucking pro wrestler than Ronda is. Ronda is one of the worst to transition from UFC I've seen in a long time.
And that's cool. Why I think that's cool, because then you can maybe tap into more of the hard style MMA dynamic for Ronda in this group or whatever. I would like to see them delve into that. If they're going to be a tag team, I wouldn't want them to be just basic wrestling, like conventional wrestling. I'd want them to add some of that awkward MMA shoot style wrestling involved into it and stuff. And yeah, Ronda, I'm actually surprised, especially after her performance at WrestleMania that we got with her and Kurt Angle, that she's not better in the ring. You know, I thought that she would really transition well, but she hasn't. Like, you know, and I feel like if she hasn't learned it, you know, in these few years that, you know, she has been in and out of the company, she's never going to get better in terms of skill wise. So especially if you're going to put them two together, capitalize on the assets they do have. Let them be bruisers, but let them be safe bruisers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I really would love to see that tag team. I think if they did it right and let them two, I think it also would give Shayna a chance to flourish better on the mic. That's one thing. She has everything. She has the wrestling pedigree. She has the tenacity. She has the work ethic. She just needs to get a little bit better on the microphone. If Shayna can get a little bit better on the microphone, that could definitely work. And it could even work when they're done doing this tag team thing and set them up to go against each other down the line. That's a match I would love to see, is Ronda versus Shayna eventually.
Yeah,
I would like that a lot. All right, so I will say this. How about the AJ Styles and Seth Rollins match?
Whew.
You talk about tearing the fucking house down on a Monday night. Like that was a WrestleMania caliber match right there.
Definitely.
Yeah. And they're definitely playing into those small injuries that you can argue Seth Rollins has created.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that they didn't do the finish. No finisher for a finish. AJ was going for the Styles Clash. He got caught. Seth rolled him up, pinned him 1, 2, 3. I like that for this match, because you didn't have to have a finish. You didn't have to really pin him off of his finisher, and it still makes AJ look strong. I do expect AJ to still be in this Money in the Bank match. I guess they're just going to have to obviously have him do another qualifying match to incorporate himself, which it would make sense, because Seth is the only one that's in it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On the men's side, yeah.
Yeah, on the men's side. So you could still fit AJ into that or whatnot. Who do you guys want to see get a qualification into the Money in the Bank that's not like a name like a Seth Rollins, like a AJ Styles? What guy, you know, from the men's side would you like to see get a shot in Money in the Bank?
Good one.
Does it have to be from the main roster? Or could it be from NXT?
It could be from NXT.
All right, let me think on this for a second.
Well, if it could be from NXT, I'll take a Braun Breaker.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to have him drop. Yeah, but then the dual championship. I don't know how well that'll work with USA if he does go after Roman on SmackDown, because USA and Fox will really be in an even more heated argument.
Yeah.
I would say go Joe Gacy.
I was gonna say if it can. Yeah. I was gonna say if it
man,
can.
you know how bad I want him on the main roster, Bob. So man, that's like cueing the violin for me, man. Like, that's my boy, man. I love Joe Gacy.
Yeah, man.
I love that character. I would be down for that, especially because we talk about all the time. Vince, he's got to push this talent that he has on his roster.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't make all these roster cuts if you don't plan on pushing the people you have. And one good thing about Joe Gacy is that since he's arrived, he's been pushed. You know what I mean? And stuff. So that is a solid thing. And I would like to see him in Money in the Bank. That would be something you can get different because nobody expects. I don't think a lot of people would expect any NXT guys to be thrown into Money in the Bank. Maybe one, because they like to do that every once in a while. Maybe pick one. You know what I mean? I'd actually be satisfied. What if we get 3 NXT guys and 3 main roster guys?
Yeah, but who would fill the other slot? 7 guys. Or are they actually doing 8 this year?
All right, so 7 guys. So pick 4 main roster and 3 NXT guys, or whatever.
What about that guy? That's one of the cousin of the Usos. I forgot his name. He's really good.
Joseph Sequoia or something like that.
Yeah.
Say no Sequoia. Sequoia.
Yes. That could work because I do see him getting called up really, really soon because he is part of that family and Vince loves to push them and give them their spotlight. I wouldn't be against that. I would like to see Cameron Grimes. What about him? He did just drop the belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe he could get a roster call up. Who else? Who else could we go with? In NXT.
Tony D.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends if that injury is actually real or not, though.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I forgot about that injury. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I didn't want to mention him because right now at this point it could be real or work. No one's 100% sure.
NXT.
I mean, they like him. They like him a lot. Grayson Waller. You know what I mean? Like,
just to fill the spot. I guess.
Yeah, just to fill a spot or something. I would really like them to go that route. 4 main roster, 3 NXT guys. I think it would give those NXT guys, even if you obviously don't have any of them win, it would give them a nice rub. It would give them a pay-per-view, a mainstream pay-per-view that they can get the feel of what it's like. I always refer back to CM Punk's interview when he left WWE and what he said to Vince. How do you expect any fucking body to get better if you don't put them in these situations? AHL hockey have to play with NHL hockey players to get better, and that's what he has to do, especially with all these roster cuts. You let go a lot of top names, all your top names, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, The Fiend, all those guys are gone. So you gotta push new characters. One thing I will say is that he's done a better job with NXT than what I initially thought he would do, taking over for Triple H. I like what he's done with Braun Breaker. I like what he's done with Joe Gacy. I like characters such as Carmelo Hayes, and I like the emergence of Cameron Grimes. I think he's done a better job with NXT than what people thought he was going to do. I will give that to Vince.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought even with Toxic Attraction would have been kind of screwed over in that deal.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're not. I'm glad they're letting them have a nice long run. I think that's necessary, especially for how they were trying to build Mandy up. that's a smart move. Keep them going. Keep them going for sure. I would like to see them eventually on the main roster. Well, I'll say this. Do you guys think when Mandy does get called up to the main roster, she will have the other two with her anymore?
Possibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they still have a little bit of ways to go to developing the WWE style.
Yeah.
But if they can get there before Mandy's called up, I see no problem with them getting called up at the same time. And it gives them even more of a women's tag team division.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see them just waiting for them to get better, for them, just all three of them to get called up. I could see that.
Yeah, I could too. I just hope they don't rush it and they don't fuck anything up, because the problem is when they bring these characters up from NXT to the main roster, they fuck their characters up. Look, like I said, look at Tommaso Ciampa. There should be no reason why his name is just Ciampa.
Yeah, he sounds like a damn Pokemon.
Sound right. It doesn't even sound, it sounds like he's trying to chomp on something. You know what I mean? Like
Ciampa.
And then I don't like what they've done with him in terms of, like, earlier tonight. You didn't see his intro. He just got introduced as Ciampa on the bottom of the screen. Like, this guy is a fucking former, like, 2-3-time NXT champion. He was the guy, one of the guys who was carrying that NXT brand. You gotta give him more respect than that. Like, and he's so good. Like, I just don't understand like what the issue is.
Maybe the issue is he lost Goldie and he wants Goldie back.
Right. Well, see, I think also what the problem is that Vince looks at certain guys and he doesn't see, the big old green dead presidents, forming around them and stuff. Yeah. And I get it, but it's like that as a promoter, as a creator, you have to make that person a draw sometimes as well. You know what I mean? Look at Hulk Hogan. Like, if we really look at Hulk Hogan's career, he was a fucking terrible worker. He couldn't wrestle to save his life. Yeah. But because he had such good character development and he was such a good character, he was able to get away with. And why? Because Vince, you know what I mean, shoved him down our throats,
The machine was behind him.
Yeah.
Huh?
The machine was behind him.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Let's get to some of these comments here. Hey, Amber, what's going on? Tina, what's going on? How you doing tonight? Thank you for stopping in. Sorry about the delay again, guys. Like I said, I had a power outage over here, but fortunately we were still able to go live and everything is under control now. But all right, so say what else? I mean, like I said, you know what the sucky thing about Monday Night Raw is? It's like we could sit there and really like pick apart an hour and talk about it for an hour. But the issue is, it's like the content is so shitty that it's not even like a lot of it's not even really worth talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it's a shame what Monday Night Raw has become. I remember watching every single week being excited to see what the hell was going to happen on Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys. But I don't get that excitement anymore for Raw. I get that more excitement for Friday Night SmackDown. And even then SmackDown isn't. If it's not Roman Reigns or maybe outside of a few other characters, it's the same as Monday Night Raw. Like, in my opinion, that's why I actually even enjoy watching NXT more. NXT, in my opinion, from top to bottom, from the start of the show to the end, is putting on a good show. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, SmackDown is a little bit more enjoyable, but the last time SmackDown really had me hook, line, and sinker to continue to watch weekly would be like back in 2016. I mean, when they had the real creative team there, that was the driving force. They knew how to do it. Of course, then Vince didn't like that they knew what they were doing and fired got rid of them as writers. But
yes.
Yeah, but I think that with Shane too being at the helm of SmackDown Live, that opened the creative envelope to kind of bring us that nuance of the past back. Like, I really miss. I like Shane as like a authority figure and creative, because I feel like Shane kind of gets it. You know what I mean? In terms of what we want to see. You know what I mean? Like, people don't give enough credit to SmackDown Live, the creator, well, the writers and Shane for that run with AJ and Samoa Styles. You know what I mean? The matches, the promos with Dolph Ziggler when he was coming in the ring and he drops he vacates the U.S. title in the middle of the ring because he feels like he deserved better. Like that, I agree with you, Bob. 2016 probably was like the last time SmackDown was like really, really, really enjoyable when it was SmackDown Live.
Yep.
Like it was that they did a good job with that, and I just feel like, you know what, I will say this. I feel like the reason why Shane doesn't last long in the company is because he's not like Stephanie. He goes against what Vince wants. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And as opposed to Stephanie, she's daddy's little girl. She's going to do whatever daddy asks her to do. You know, and isn't that how ironic? How she spent all these years trying to gain her dad's approval, and now look at what he's doing to her.
Yeah, that's some BS. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not part of that family, but that's some massive bullshit.
It is bullshit. That's fucked up.
Yes, man.
That's fucked up, because one thing I can give both Stephanie and Triple H is that a lot of people give them like shit. They weren't that bad. They actually did have some really good segments over the past years, like when they were authority figures. Like, to me, that whole buildup with Daniel Bryan, that was one of the best buildups of all time. Like, and they both did a fucking fantastic job of selling that. Like, they did. You know, that fucking Monday Night Raw when Daniel holds the whole ring captive and he's got the yes movement in the ring with him. And then you see Triple H call for security, and it's all but two security guys. And then you see fucking Stephanie snapping like, I own you. This is mine. It's all mine. Like, I love that segment because you get a piece of them, not just the characters, but you literally get a piece of them, the person. Like, I felt like you seen a lot of their personal character flush out in that segment. And I thought Daniel Bryan did a really good job of bringing that out of them. Like that to me, that should be the shit. That should be the shit they should be templating off of. You know what I mean? Go back and look at that rivalry, how you built it up, how you let it simmer for months and months on end. That's storytelling right there. They don't do it like that no more.
No, like another good form of storytelling, and it's not involving them. There's two I could also think of. When you look at the whole build-up for CM Punk versus Undertaker, that was a hell of a build-up because Taker gave him the right to use Paul Bearer as kind of a joking point to leading to that.
Yeah.
Which was a cool angle. And then in NXT, you had Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura's rivalry.
Man, that's another guy that came up to the main roster and they fucking ruined him. Because I love me some Shinsuke Nakamura, man. But I love the New Japan Shinsuke. Like, I really wish they would let. Like, actually, I was really mad when he initially won the U.S. title and he was going with the Nakamura America gimmick or whatever that he was doing.
Yeah.
I wish they would have let him do that. Like, his promos were on point. His English was a lot better than what a lot of people thought. Like, I forget the one. It was the one backstage interview.
I know.
Yeah, and he's just like, no comment, or me speak no English.
No speak English.
Sorry, no speak English.
Yes, he is so fucking good, and I'm just like, why? I'm like, why, Vince? This guy is money. Like, he is money. Like, I don't understand why Vince won't fucking push him. Like, he has it. He has the charisma. Yes. Oh my God. The charisma, the in-ring ability, the talent. Like, he has it all. And the crazy thing is, it's a shame because, in all honesty, if you can make the argument that Vince kind of has wasted his last bit of his prime years, because Shinsuke is like 43, 44 now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that Knock America gimmick was a missed opportunity, and I like what he did with Rick Boogs. I thought they made a terrible situation and made the most out of it and turned it into an entertaining situation.
Yeah.
I just really wish they would let Shinsuke be Shinsuke, the king of strong style, and let him work, and give him that push. Put the machine behind him. You know what I mean? I like Shinsuke a lot. What are you guys' thoughts on Shinsuke Nakamura?
Shinsuke was booked horrible ever since getting called up from NXT. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did get some shits and giggles out of the whole low blow thing to AJ Styles and the no speak English. But really, when you look at it as a whole, all his title runs outside of NXT aren't very memorable.
They're not.
Yep.
The most memorable one was the Intercontinental title, and that's because him and Boogs were so entertaining.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just even with that WrestleMania with AJ, that was so rushed. It was so rushed. It really was. That's
actually the other thing that does stand out with him too, and it was still booked horrible, would be the whole stealing King Corbin's crown and becoming King Nakamura, even though he didn't win no damn King of the Ring.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit was funny too.
It was funny. Yeah. That was good. That was a good rib. That was a good rib. I enjoyed that. I did. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. We've seen this character go through so much shit, but we can still like him. Why? Because we've seen him, no matter what character he's given, he excels. He makes it better than what it even looks on paper. And that's why I really wish Vince would just at least give me one eyeball open for Shinsuke Nakamura and give him the machine and push him, because that guy is money. He is a draw. And what Vince is missing the opportunity with too is that he's an international draw.
Yep.
Exactly. He could put you could sit there, if you would push Shinsuke right, you could sit there and steal a date from New Japan Pro Wrestling and run a show down there.
Yeah.
You know how fucking insane that would be? Because he's still arguably their biggest star of all time in New Japan.
Yeah.
We could say Okada. We could say Okada, but in my opinion, I think even Shinsuke still is a bigger star. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could have had a Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tajiri match at one point in the WWE style in ECW.
Nah, yeah, man.
Can you imagine how fucking brutal that match would be from a technical standpoint?
That's what I mean. I hear about Japan. I'm just thinking Tajiri just popped on my. I wish I could have seen them two go at it.
Oh, bro, they would have fucked each other up. They would have fucked each other up.
Tajiri with the buzzsaw kicks and
Nakamura with the strong style kicks. Man, that is a dream match right there. If you're a true wrestling fan, that is a dream match right there. Tajiri and fucking Shinsuke Nakamura. Yeah, oh man. Wow. Huh. Fantasy bookers, put it together. Come on, fantasy bookers. We need that match.
Yeah, man.
Hey, WWE 2K23, make sure you put Tajiri in the game.
There you go.
You know who else could have worked? You know who else could have worked back in the day with Shinsuke too? Taka Michinoku.
Yeah.
Taka could have worked. Taka could work. Because see, the thing is a lot of people don't know this. His wrestling style is completely different outside of WWE.
Yep.
His whole wrestling style is way better and way different outside of WWE.
Yeah, and then to piss Shinsuke off, make sure you put Funaki in there. Number one SmackDown announcer.
Number one.
Funaki. Number one SmackDown. I love Funaki. I do. I miss those segments. That just takes me back, guys. Goodness gracious.
No, you know who else I would have loved to have seen, and it might not be a big thing, but imagine if you would have also incorporated Jimmy Wang Yang, but not as that character. But you use him because he could draw fucking shit if he's booked
fucking right. people don't understand how over Jimmy Wang Yang was back then. Like, he was over. He got that gimmick over. I liked Jimmy Wang Yang too. He got that gimmick over. That wasn't supposed to be a successful gimmick, and he got it over.
No, it was supposed to be a rib to him.
Yeah. And he definitely got it over. And of course, once he got it over, fucking Vince, fucking squashed it.
Exactly.
Which brings me to Ghostface Fanatics comment. What's up, Ghostface? Thank you for stopping in. Because Vince ruins characters, in my opinion. Even Windham said that Vince ruins characters. He said that Twitter after someone asked him, and he said he does. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Ghostface. He does ruin characters.
Yeah,
he does, but I think it falls even deeper than him. I think Kevin Dunn, if he doesn't like you with being on the production, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Nick, especially now with Nick Khan being in there, if Nick Khan has a fucking problem, you're most likely going. I don't think it all just falls on Vince. I think Vince is giving too much power to these guys now.
Yeah.
Especially Nick Khan. I could semi understand Kevin Dunn. He's been there long. I could see him. But Nick Khan just pretty much just came in and it's like this guy's pretty much told him who to get rid of.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, Nick Khan might be next in line to take over, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm hearing
it wouldn't shock me because I've been seeing shit popping up where he knows Dwayne Johnson, which has me worried Disney might get involved. And if Disney gets their hands on WWE, you think you think we're in the PG era? Wait till Disney gets a hold of it. Everybody's gonna be running around with Mickey Mouse ears.
We'll be going retro back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, Bertha Faye.
Bertha Faye. That's great. Good shit. That's a good one. Interesting tidbit, guys. My grandmother, God rest her soul, my mom's biological mother, because when she passed away, my mom was adopted or whatever. My mom's biological mother wrestled the Fabulous Moolah for charity.
Whoa.
Yes. Yeah, my real grandmom, she was into wrestling. She was into all that shit. Cause see, back in the day, or whatever, a lot of wrestlers were also into shoot wrestling as well, like the MMA style and stuff. And according to my mom, my grandma was like one of those types or whatever and stuff. And it was funny because I asked my mom, I was like, how tough was grandma? She was like, tough enough that if Moolah really wanted to fight her outside of a wrestling match, she would have backed away because grandma would have whooped her ass.
Yeah, but you want to talk about tough? You know what? Think about old people. Look at what Mae Young was doing with fucking Dudley Boy Smash.
Oh my God,
fucking tables and shit, man. You want to talk about fucking tough, man?
Hell yeah! Did you ever watch the interview when Bubba was talking about Mae Young when she said?
Yes.
I love that. He powerbombed. He initially does the first powerbomb. She gets up and she fucking grabs him and was like, "You better do it like one of the boys and mean it." I'm just like, nice. She goes hard. Man. Fucking Mae Young. She was so underrated, even though she was like way old. That character development, like for her, especially with Mark Henry, was so fucking good.
Oh, that was funny, the whole birth of that. But you know what else was funny? Go back to I think it was WrestleMania 17 or 18, where Bobby Heenan and like me, Gene were backstage, and like they just went in the closet with these guys, and they come out all after making out and shit.
Yes, I remember that. I do remember that. I do. Fucking Mae Young, she created. She doesn't get enough credit for her and Moolah don't get enough credit for the moments they created in the Attitude Era. Like,
no, they don't. Well, Moolah's a little bit harder with some of the shit that came out in recent years.
Oh no, I was just
I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, she's a piece of shit. Yeah. I mean, she fucking ruined Luna Vachon's life. Like, and that's a damn. Did you ever watch that story?
Yeah. Oh, I love watching Dark Side of the Ring. It sounds fucked up to say, but I love watching that.
I'm not even going to lie to you guys watching that shit. I'm not even going to lie. I bust a tear because that's just fucking sad. You know what I mean? Like you're sitting there, you're setting these girls up to be raped and taken advantage of and all that shit. Like that's fucked up because you're supposed to be a role model. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be the cream of the crop. You're the one they look up to.
They look up to, yeah, exactly.
Like, and it's fucked up. Like, it really, if that is true, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt because we get all these stories and stuff like that, and we weren't there. So, these guys could just be they could be telling a story just, for ratings or whatnot, or just to tell a story.
Yeah, but see, it came out well before the whole Dark Side of the Ring, though. Remember when they were going to?
Yeah, I never heard about that up until the Dark Side of the Ring. I never.
See, that goes back to even before that, because when they started, they were going to do a Moolah, I think, Battle Royal
memorial,
like
memorial thing,
for the women, and fans started bitching about that because people looked her up, and there was all this shit well before Dark Side. This goes about like 6-7 years before.
Yeah,
the Dark Side of the Ring story.
I didn't hear nothing about that. I found all that shit out when I saw that episode of Dark Side of the Ring and all that.
Yeah.
It's a shame, man. Like, it really is, because like I said, you're supposed to be a fucking role model, especially in that time when it was so hard for females to be accepted as workers and stuff, as actual wrestlers, and being looked at instead of being actual like valets and managers. Like,
and eye candy.
Yes, exactly. Like, I mean, it's that's a fucked up situation. And, fortunately, I want to say fortunately for what it seems, you know what I mean? A lot of these girls who are wrestling now are pretty good fucking role models. You know what I mean? They're pretty decent.
Yeah.
Outside of Paige, but I still like her. So
hey, I'll take Paige over Charlotte Flair any day of the week.
Oh, fucking right. Like, come on. Like, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's not a knock on Charlotte. You know what I mean? It's just like Charlotte. I think when a lot of us do look at Charlotte, we see too much of Rick and her. And that's I think that's
it's not just that. I mean, I'm not trying to insult her work ethic. She's gotten better over the years, but I still say most of these titles are more just off of her father's name. I mean, I'm not entertained in these matches. Half these matches she's in with these undercard talents. You get over with Becky, Bayley, Sasha, but they know how to work.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree that the reason why she has already so many fucking, she's up to like 11, 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The reason why is
I think technically 12, but they don't count the NXT title.
Got you. Yeah, like, she's had so many title reigns, and it's just the reason why for me it leaves a sour taste is because you're trying to be just like your dad in terms of like the 16-time championships, and I'd rather you see you get different, and maybe even you would have cut that in half. You don't need to be a 16-time women's champion to be Charlotte Flair. Just be yourself. Like,
but I mean, at the end of the day, if any of us were in her shoes, we ain't turning down no damn title reigns. That's what I mean. I don't want to insult the word that it's just the name itself. But if I was her, I'd be taking the titles too. So I can't judge.
Me personally, if it was me, in order to make the company better and to make business better, I would put over who I could put over. You know what I mean? Because that's going to only make the business better. That's why I respect the shit out of The Undertaker, and that's why he lasted for so long. You know what I mean? Because you know how many title reigns Taker could have had? You know what I mean? No, he wanted to see other guys flourish. He wanted the company to grow.
Well, not just that. At the end of the day, that wouldn't make any sense for his gimmick. I mean, a dead man's not going to give a crap about a piece of tin.
He didn't need it.
Well,
he didn't need the belt.
No, he didn't need the belt. You know what I mean? And that's what I guess I'm kind of saying about Charlotte too. In my opinion, she doesn't need the belt, to be Charlotte Flair. Like, you're still Charlotte Flair. Give some of the rub to these other chicks. That's how we get these other performers to get better at their performances at WrestleMania, at these pay-per-views. And so I feel like a lot of these, wrestlers, it's just, all right. I mean, I get it. You want them because, when you have that belt, you make the most money. You know what I mean? I think I heard a rumor that for the WWE Championship, and for how many months you hold it, it's like $1 million extra on your contract for each month you hold it.
Yep.
Like that, like, So imagine like JBL, like he had that one big title reign, but the motherfucker, if that's true, made $10 million off of it.
So
yeah,
but
also,
now.
but let's face it. The only reason he held that title so long is Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
Yeah. That's the truth. That is the truth.
Yeah.
No, that is the truth. Because we all know this. If Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays, JBL would have got buried. Everybody would have got buried.
Yeah.
Except Taker. Taker, I think, is the only one on that brand that would have been fine.
I mean, he's not.
He would have been safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say this: I am glad that Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays because then we wouldn't have got this great character that we got in terms of John Bradshaw Layfield. Like I thought that the transition from APA Bradshaw to this whole different character was so good. But
especially those promos. I mean, when he was getting ready to face Eddie, I mean, he had the one where it was technically patrolling the border. Then he gave Eddie's mother a heart attack. I mean, you had this guy doing the goofiest shit.
Yes. And what I love about JBL too, that I don't think he gets enough credit for, especially with the Cena I Quit match, is when he was really like ramping up his attack, he would talk so much shit. And I love that. Like, I mean, I love it when he's sitting there outside, he's beating the hell out of Cena. And he's like, he says something to me. He said, you tried your best and it hasn't gotten you anywhere. Now quit, you punk ass bitch. Yo, when he said that, I fucking popped. I was like, yes, that was so great. Like that moment, especially because of the Cena character being this rapper type gimmick or whatever. For JBL to say that, I thought that was a really nice touch. Like, it really was. I loved it. When he's like, now quit, you punk ass bitch. Like, oh, man. That's good shit. Like, it is. He is so good. Like, I'm really glad that Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays because then if you think about it, you know what I mean? In all honesty, he did a good job of carrying SmackDown for those 10 months. He did. Yeah. He was really entertaining. He really was.
Although at least they put him in good angles too. I mean, you had him working with Taker, Booker T, Eddie.
Yes.
I mean, he had good talent to work with.
And the cabinet, his group was a bunch of guys who could actually work. These guys weren't no bums. Orlando Jordan could work. The Basham brothers. The Basham brothers were really fucking good. I don't know if you guys know about Danny Basham, but he was like a big thing in OVW or whatever. Like he was like considered to be like one of the next big single stars until he got called up and they just put him in a tag team with his brother.
Yeah, and they made him then they turned him into that weird like a freaking dominatrix type angle thing.
Yes.
With whatever
with
the heck
Shaniqua.
that was. Yeah.
Shaniqua, Linda Miles. Yep. I will say this, she played that part so well. She did. She killed that part. She did. But yeah, man, like, and that, I don't know if you guys ever did like see their work in OVW, but if you haven't, check out the Basham's work in OVW, especially Danny. Like, I don't understand why, like, especially after the Bashams broke up, why Vince wouldn't have took a shot on that guy. That guy was fucking good.
Because of people power.
Right? Fucking Laurinaitis.
John Laurinaitis.
You know, another guy who was really good in the indies that got a terrible gimmick and, you know, essentially his career fucked up. And I was just watching an interview with him on Cafe de Rene, which is on Rene Dupree's podcast, Eugene, Nick Dunsmore. Like, you guys ever seen his work on the indies? He was fucking solid. Like, really good.
But also, he came up with the Eugene thing. He wanted that gimmick.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
I will admit that whole angle with Triple H and him, man, that was something to behold. And William Regal, man, that was how William Regal turned face.
Yeah,
was working with Eugene.
Oh, you're right.
That is true. That is when William Regal turned face.
And that was definitely one of William Regal's best promos in WWE when he was talking to Triple H, like, I will fight you with every violent venom left in my body.
Yeah, man, that promo was amazing. I remember that. Yes.
Oh, man. fucking William Regal, he doesn't even get enough credit for the King of the Ring gimmick that he did.
Yeah,
like,
I think, but
Regal,
part of that problem
like,
was right after that.
gimmick,
The whole, it was great, but then the whole he failed his second like type thing, and he had that over him. A lot of fans kind of look at that as that bad time with the suspension, and so it's kind of hard. I mean, I thought it was working well personally. It just unfortunately drug policy
too.
and that's another guy that had to suffer with that shit, man. I felt bad.
He's definitely one of the best workers. Like, he just couldn't get it out of his way. Like, even in WCW, he was really good as Steven Regal. And he had, he was battling those demons of alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. But, I will say this. I love the work he's doing in AEW right now.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
William Regal, he's fucking amazing, man. I really like.
It's funny you bring that up. You know how in NXT,
I remember.
Yeah. In NXT, how he always would go with War Games. Well, now Button Gets is his new thing.
My shit. Remember when he would come out to his old music and it was like that, like it sounded like the London Tea Party, and he'd come in the middle of the ring and say, "I'm besmirched," or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that was my shit. I love that. Like, he would just come out to the ring with that mean mug, and he's just like, "I'm besmirched," or whatever.
Regal, man.
Hell yes, man.
Regal's definitely underrated.
Very underrated. Very, very underrated. In all honesty, he's the one who exposed Goldberg as a shit wrestler.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. And a lot of people sit there and say he did that on purpose. And he went on record. He said, "Listen, I did not do that on purpose. I was given a specific order on how to wrestle the match, and the match came out how it came out."
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what it is
about it. I mean, and I think what a lot of people don't understand is that was a huge mistake on WCW's part in terms of, why would you throw this guy who is not fully developed as a wrestler? Why would you put him in a fucking ring with a seasoned pro like that? Like,
especially a seasoned technician that's going
to
go for specific parts. But no, you want to talk about, I'm not blaming Undertaker on this one, but you want to talk about, like, you could tell it was intentional burial from WWE. Just look at how they treated Diamond Dallas Page. That's a case of intentional burying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because Diamond Dallas, even still to this day, is one of the most popular wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that definitely was, like, I remember what Booker T said when he came in. When he came in, like, because I guess of all the heat between WWE superstars and WCW, that moment when he comes in the ring and The Rock looks at him and he's like, "Who are you?" Apparently that was like a real, like, moment that wasn't scripted or nothing. And Booker said he really took that he was really offended by that, because all the years he put in, working in WCW, and it's just like, you have a guy like The Rock that's just like, "Who are you?" Like, you're not even going to acknowledge him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's one thing, though, I say about Booker. Booker could have easily got lost in a shuffle in WWE, but he came up with a great gimmick with the whole 5-time and "tell me I did not just hear him say that." You know what I mean? And stuff like that WrestleMania with Triple H, that should have been a title change. Booker
that match was
yes.
He should have won the title.
Yes,
he should have.
That match, and no, I'm not trying to say there was race behind it, but that whole lead up to that felt like it was just a racist angle.
It was. A lot of fans picked up on that shit.
And mind you, I would have been like 4 or 5, and if I can pick up on that, that's something bad on your company. If a kid can pick up on that,
yeah, man, it was pushed. It was like, this is like some racial thing. That's why everyone thought Triple H was gonna win, because Booker T was gonna win, because they were like, okay, if they're doing this, making him seem like this much of a jerk and making it racial, Booker T's definitely winning this, and then he still loses. Oh, what?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, a good build-up match. that I remember was back in 2003 for Judgment Day with him and Taker. And they went full in, like he went to all these like different things, even like to a voodoo shop. But like after he did what he was supposed to, you see Taker's hand come out of the grave after he left.
Yeah,
shit was fucking great build up right there.
Yeah, and then to revert back to like another bad one though was I think the worst one maybe of Triple H's career, and it's still talked about to this day, was the Katie Vick storyline with Kane.
Oh my god!
It was just that one thing. I don't care that Kane lost the match, but it was the fact you had a fake dead body in there, man. That's the worst part of that build up.
I thought that shit was funny.
It was, but you know what? I have to quote Scream the TV series for a minute to everybody who does live, including myself. Necrophilia is a problem.
Isn't it?
I have the funniest story about that Katie Vick thing.
Oh my god!
So I'm watching, I'm watching it live. I'm watching it live on TV, and you know what happens when he goes into the funeral parlor. He opens the casket. Yeah. So he opens the casket, and literally right when he starts doing his thing with the body, my dad walks in. I swear, that stayed with me forever. He literally walks in and he's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm just a kid, I'm watching. I'm just a kid. I'm like, "Oh no, Dad, it's just, it's fake. He's not really doing it." He's like, "No, but he's still doing the action." And I'm like,
"Yes."
I couldn't explain. I was like, "I don't know. It's just wrestling." Now I'm like,
yes.
It was
when he climbs on top of the body and he's like, "It smells like the fresh scent of formaldehyde."
Oh my god! Could you imagine me as a kid trying to explain this to my dad? I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, well, it's funny going back to that because every time like I go back and watch it, I see all these things. It's like, well, no wonder my mother didn't want me watching this shit.
Right? Yeah.
Now I actually understand why she hates it.
I gave this credit to Triple H. He always did a good job of even turning maybe a cringy situation into a funny moment. I mean, I love when him and Michaels, obviously got back together for DX, and this is when Stephanie went into labor with one of their kids, and they were fucking with Vince at this time.
Yeah.
And Sean's on the microphone. He's like, "So, for everybody who doesn't know, Stephanie is in labor and on her way to the hospital."
Yes.
Wonder who the father could be.
Yeah.
And he looks at Triple H, and the fans just start cheering, and Triple H is just standing there smirking. And then he's just like, "I bet that guy's got a schlong like this big." And I'm just like, I'm like,
I don't know. He's like, "I don't know, but that guy, he was got a bazooka on him."
Oh my god!
Yeah, man,
that was good shit. That was such good shit because he's literally sitting there just smirking, and the whole fans are like cheering Triple H, and he's just like, "I bet this guy's got a big old schlong like that big."
And he's like, "I'm pretty big, but this guy, he must be."
Oh my god!
Yeah, then going back to like the freaking attitude, then you had the whole freaking like fake wedding, like he just goes to this try thing.
Oh man.
Miss McMahon, do you take Hunter Hearst Helmsley to be your lawfully wedded husband? Yes,
I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Oh man.
The attitude.
I'm sorry. I put it this way. I know when Stephanie and fucking Paul, because that's his real name, when they go back and watch that shit, they have to fucking laugh their asses off.
They got to. They got to.
Oh my god, that's good shit, man. Like he's definitely created some really good, funny fucking moments too, and I think that's why, as a fan of his, that's why I like him so much, is because it wasn't always about the badass kisser. I mean, the badass kicker.
Yeah.
The bad guy. He had some really good, hilarious moments in the company for sure. Like, did you guys ever see when they were trying to get Taker to do the spinneroonie?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Oh man, that was so good. And then you had Vince come out and do the worst spinneroonie of all time.
The
maybe
worst.
he pulled both quads again.
I was just about to say, he probably blew both quads trying to fucking spin. Oh man. Oh, good shit,
man.
Vince. Oh man. Man, I could watch that over and over again. Him running to the ring and then he just you see him pull it. You see it. As soon as he goes to slide, he just pulled that shit and he just rolls in the ring and he's just like trying to scoot up.
Hey, you know what? We better be careful. Man. We keep insulting Vince. 80-year-old Vince might want us at like WrestleMania 50.
Yeah, right? Shit.
Man.
Fucking sign the check, Vince. Sign the check. I'll be there.
Hey, whatever. Right?
Shit.
Hey, just give me all the catering. I'll do it for free.
Right? Shit. Yeah, you know what? Just give me some camera time. You know what I mean? Have the TV execs have to pay me. You know what I mean? Shit, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, man.
Ghostface Fanatic says, I think Goldberg is trash at wrestling in my eyes. All he does is a spear and a jackhammer and squashes people, has no care for the company. I mean, that's how, you know, his character was built up to be. You know, I don't only blame him. I don't even really blame him for it. I blame that to WCW because that's the type of character they wanted him to portray. And they didn't, at least on the back end, and it's something Kevin Nash said, okay, what happens when you're done beating everybody and you finally get beat? Then where do you go with that character? You know what I mean? And I think, there's no arc after that, which is why we've seen him in his last bit of WCW days start to falter a little bit.
Yeah.
And why the fans, and even Kevin Nash said this, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you guys caught some of those interviews with Nash. And they asked him, you know, somebody asked him about Goldberg or whatever, and he was like, he wasn't that big of a draw as everybody thought. He's like, you want to know why? He said, go back and listen to the tape and tell me you don't notice that's a piped-in audience talking over the Goldberg sucks chants. He said, every single night after he lost that belt, even before he lost the belt, WCW was piping in Goldberg chants to cover the Goldberg sucks chants. Apparently, even before the title change, fans were starting to turn on him for that fact that he can't wrestle. You know what I mean? As a wrestling fan, and especially if you're a wrestling fan of being a wrestling purist, you might like the overall concept that, he's a badass. He smashes people. But in terms of storytelling in the ring, like Nash and Hulk Hogan, he's a mark. He is a mark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He is.
Yeah.
But then again, back in WCW days, you could make the same argument on David Arquette.
Yeah, but I think David is more like, how can I say, he's more of a celebrity fan service type. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand he went a couple months with him, and that's when fucking WCW was definitely in the dumps and trying to like look for anything.
Yeah, I mean, at that point it was anything. I mean, didn't Vince Russo like pretty much hold the title too, which made no fucking sense.
Bro, to quote Vince Russo, bro. Yeah.
I mean, Bischoff would have made more sense to fucking Russo.
Well, yeah, at least fucking Bischoff is a real life black belt.
Yeah,
like he can actually fucking fight. You know what I mean? Like and stuff like that. And it's funny because that's funny because I remember Bischoff was like having it with Conrad was having one of his podcasts, and Conrad was asking him about Jim Cornette's comments and shit, and Bischoff was like, well, see, you want to know why I'd never fight Jim Cornette? Because one, I'd beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? He's like, and two, because he's like, all he does is talk about getting a bat. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Like, I'm just like, that's crazy. But I love Corny. I love Corny and his ultra violent rants. I love it.
I love his rants on Russo, Dunn.
Yeah.
He hates Russo. Oh my God. What does he call him? Shit
Did
stain?
you ever listen?
Yeah, shit
Did
stain.
you ever listen to put up or shut up on one? Or whatever, when he challenges Russo to meet up to basically to a fight, because Russo had went on his podcast and said that Jim has no balls. He won't say anything that he's saying on a live stream to his face, this and this and that. And Jim was like, I'm not going to come on a podcast to debate you because we have nothing to talk about. But here's the deal. He was like, you say you do this face to face. Send me a time. We're lagging a little bit. Hold on. Hold on. Let this pass through. Suffering a light lag.
That happens time
All right,
to time.
we should be good now. Well, he says, give me a time, a date, and an address, and I'll come to you, or whatever. And he said, I will bring $5,000 with me, and you can have it if you can take it away from me. Like, oh man, like, and he goes on. He was like, you fucking moron. He was like, you fucking moron, you fucking pussy. What do I gotta do? Do I gotta say that your wife sucks dicks for dimes? Do I gotta say your mom's a crack whore? Do I gotta say he's like, do I gotta say your dad sold government secrets to the Nazis? Let me know what I gotta do. Let me know what this cutlass fucking power gotta do to meet you, bitch. Like, he went off. He's like,
man, when Corny goes on that rant, man,
there's no going back.
Yeah, man. When he starts up, when he's on that level, it's over. You're about to get crapped on.
Oh hell yeah!
Hell, now he's got that beef with Dave Meltzer again.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. Check it out. Somebody did this. Whatever. They basically did like a 3-4 minute video clipping some of Jim's best rants, and they put it over a hip hop beat. They put it over Tupac's "Hit 'Em Up" beat, and over yeah, oh man, it is fucking it's lit, over Nas's Ether beat, because he's the one is coming at Kenny Omega, because he hates Kenny Omega too.
Ooh. Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang. That's what he calls it.
Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang.
But yeah, after that stuff with him wrestling a 9-year-old, yeah, that's when I lost. I have to agree with Cornette on hating on Omega. I mean, even that pisses me off.
Yeah. I love it when a fan sent in an email and said, Jim, will you ever give Kenny Omega a chance? Or whatever. He was like, I think that Kenny Omega is so great and this and this and that. What will it take to give you for you to give him a chance, Jim? And Jim just is like, oh, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? He's like, so he starts going in on why he hates Kenny Omega. And he's like, to make the long story short, you guys, he fucking wrestled a 9-year-old girl in a fucking blow-up doll.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would let it go if it was Val Venus. That would make more sense for Val Venus's character than Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I would have let it slide on that one. Yeah.
Right, yeah, Val could have got away with that. What's funny, I don't know if you guys know this, do you know who actually was supposed to be the original Val Venus?
You?
I mean, hello, ladies. I mean, I wouldn't do too bad. No, but take a guess. I'll give you a hint. He is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Rick Rude. Just to be funny.
No.
Well,
that is the weirdest freeze frame I ever saw.
Yeah. It just,
if you ever get on Jim Cornette's bad side, he could have screenshot that and say you blow dicks like Kenny Omega.
Oh my god,
man.
Oh, I will try my best never to get on his bad side.
Part of me does, because I would love to hear a rant.
I'll put it this way. Okay. So he's a WWE Hall of Famer, and he's still actively wrestling in WWE.
Oh, I'd say Edge at that point then.
Bingo.
Edge, yeah.
Yep. Edge was supposed to be the original Val Venus type character. He was supposed to play, before they put him in the Brood, he was going to play that adult, like, gimmick type character or whatever. And then they decided to change that and put him in the Brood.
Thank God.
He would have had sex with Lita years earlier.
Right? It's funny how it turns out. Like, yeah. Well, it's funny. Excuse me. When you look at, because he actually did like a photo op for that character gimmick or whatever. He would have been money. He would have been money. He had the look. He had it. He would have been money in that gimmick. Now, granted, I will say though, because of the voice and all that, I don't think that anybody could do Val Venus the way Val Venus did.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
Especially those storylines with Mr. Yamaguchi.
He cut up the pee-pee.
Hey, Val Venus, I have a surprise for you. Hey, chubby, yo, pee-pee. Yo, that's my shit. I love it.
Man.
Oh, man.
You guys remember the storyline with him and Ken Shamrock's sister?
Yeah,
yes,
Ryan Shamrock.
Ryan Shamrock, yep.
Saving Ryan's privates.
Yeah.
Oh man, gosh, guys, like good times. What we would give for those days, that type of content on WWE again. Wow, man, that was good shit, man. And unfortunately, Vince has too many sponsors and
and all that stuff.
And then, like Bob said, I mean, now we really got to worry about is if these Disney cocksuckers are going to come in and.
Yeah.
Yo, you have to run. This is me imitating Vince when that happens. Guys, I hate to say it, but now you got to run around in Mickey Mouse. I can't do it, Vince. I can't do it, Vince. I sound like a deranged Triple H.
Vince,
man.
Gotta run in Mickey Mouse ears, pals.
Oh, man. Good stuff. All right, guys. So, I mean, obviously, we recapped Raw the best way we obviously could. I mean, there's really not much there to really talk about. I mean, they, like I said, they did a good job kind of making us wait, you know what I mean, for the whole Judgment Day stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with Edge over the next couple of weeks, even though I'm still very bummed out that they kicked him out. But we'll see what happens over the next coming weeks with that. You know what I mean? See what happens for sure. But guys, so now we're going to transition into a little bit of horror movie talk, and
right.
Yeah, so Windham, the Bray Wyatt horror movie that's coming out, it's being kept under wraps really, really well. I wish a lot of other horror movies would take a page out of this, book. In terms of not giving away a lot of the fucking movie or any part of the movie at all. So I guess what I'll start off with is we'll start off with you, Dino. For Windham, what do you think this character that Bray Wyatt is portraying? How do you expect the character to be? Do you see this being as more of Swamp Bray, the Fiend Bray, or we're going to get a little bit of everything in this character?
I mean, I feel like it would probably be more of like because when I see Bray Wyatt, I see a psychological serial killer. Like this guy, like I see like. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be more of like he's like I say psychological, and then when he puts on the Fiend, if he does have like a Fiend mask or whatever, is like when he really goes into like second gear and like serial killer mode. I would, and that's what I would think would be. But definitely when it comes to Bray Wyatt, I think psychological, like what it would probably be like. What's that movie that's coming out recently? The one with the guy that uses the phone, like the one, like
Black Phone,
recent.
Black Phone,
like that. Like when I see Black Phone, I'm like that. That is what I see a Bray Wyatt movie being like. Like that.
That's good. What about that? I kind of agree with that especially because of his ability to talk like a sinister minister, I would agree with him. What about you, Bob? How would you see this character playing out?
I say we should make it into at least a 2-part film. Why not start off where he's a cult leader, and because he gets so involved in this cult, something happens where the Fiend does come out. Like the Fiend overtakes him. Even if he doesn't want it supernatural, you can still be possessed by something, and that thing won't give you supernatural powers.
Yeah.
Facts. I actually like that too. I think that would be very good, especially for a story arc. You know what I mean? To see him be like this cult leader, and then obviously, in the next movie, he turns into something greater, something much more darker, much more, otherworldly, which is where this character would come in. I mean, guys, I remember when he first came out with that mask and the gloves, and I'm just like, as soon as I saw that, I said, how do you not put this fucking guy in a horror movie?
Exactly.
Oh my God, that, he is just so perfect for the horror genre. Much like Glenn Jacobs was as Kane, he does not get enough credit for the job he did in See No Evil.
Yeah, that was a shocker, man. Not everyone thought it was going to be as good as it was.
Yeah, and See No Evil 2 was pretty damn good in my opinion as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have him do a little lag or whatever, but you didn't have to have, Kane talk a lot in that movie. You just had to have him do what he does, which is be brutal and kill people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The difference is for Bray, though, is we gotta have that dialogue, that conversation.
Yeah, he's great.
That he is such a good fucking talker. And this is why. And I don't. I think you were in the chat that night, Dino, or whatever, for Children of the Corn.
Yes.
He would be such a good fucking Isaac type character. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, oh man, it's almost euphoric how he is so good at being able to talk and make you feel what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If Friday the 13th ever didn't want to do any form of comedy, I think he'd be a very terrifying Krueger.
Ooh.
If you wanted to take all comedy aspect out, forget Lillard. Imagine if you went full dark with Krueger.
Yeah.
Because you'd still have that dialogue, unlike how Jason and Michael don't really speak.
Yeah.
Ooh. I like that. I like that a lot. Kind of give us that new Nightmare type feel of the darker Freddy. You know what I mean? And that could work too, because in a new Nightmares version of Freddy was beefed up. He was pretty big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that could work. Hell yeah. Fucking Bray Wyatt playing Freddy Krueger. Yeah.
Cool.
You can add him to the list. Yeah. And in all honesty, even if you want to add some of the comedy elements to it, look at his Mr. Rogers gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He does have that charisma to kind of be funny and say some pretty good jokes and stuff like that. I thought that the Mr. Rogers gimmick was funnier than what a lot of people gave credit for. And stuff, especially when he was doing the segment with Braun, and he's like, "Did you miss me?" And he's like, "Oh, I learned how to knit." You know what I mean? You see the knitting emoji pop up, and then he's like, "Oh, I also learned a TikTok dance or whatever." And he's like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's well versed in everything.
Say that never did come to fruition, because we know that might be a long stretch as well. But you know who could replace Brad Dourif one day if Brad Dourif would go? Imagine him as the voice of Chucky. If you wanted to do something new with that. After Dourif is dead, obviously. I don't mean to continue. Course, don't do it now.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad.
I get it. Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad at all. I actually like it. Because I think he could pull it off. Yeah. I think he could pull that voiceover off. Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
Yeah.
Not be opposed to that at all. And another thing about the psychological thing, what works so well with this character, you know what I mean, and especially theorizing about this character, is you go back and look at the Firefly Funhouse match. That was all psychological, and I love.
Yeah.
I remember when that match came out, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's not a real match," and this and that. I said, "Listen, it's not supposed to be a real wrestling match. This is supposed to be a kind of like a cinematic storyline or whatever."
Yeah.
And I loved it because you got all the psychological aspects of it. You know, and you got everything. And I think that for this character, for this Windham character, I think that's a lot of that psychological. I think we're going to get a version of each one of his characters. I think we're going to get Swamp Bray. I think we're going to get Mr. Rogers Bray, and then Fiend Bray. But I will say this: I would want to wait for the Fiend for a second movie.
Yeah, that's the payoff right there. The Fiend is the payoff.
That's the payoff right there. That's the first one is we get Windham, we get these other characters. We're seeing the Sinister Minister, and then the second one. We get the payoff where he turns into something way more otherworldly that's not from here, and this is what we have in the Fiend. Now, I will say this: if they do that right, do that, do you think that they will have this original Fiend mask, or do you think they'll go in a different direction and kind of tweak it a little bit?
If I'm them, I would tweak it. I would get Tom Savini, make it a little. You can make it even more terrifying.
Yeah. Because so supposedly from what I hear, it was actually way more terrifying, but WWE kind of made Windham, or not Windham, but made Savini kind of tame it down for their TV. But from what I hear, Windham's design or whatever that he had and what it looked like before was way more terrifying. So maybe that's what we get.
Yeah, because the most terrifying thing really with that gimmick was the fact that the lantern looked like Bray's fucking face.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of the lantern,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that
lantern.
Yeah. I love that.
I actually thought maybe he was gonna use that lantern, like he would put the light in someone's face, and that's how he kind of possessed people. That's kind of what I thought what they were gonna go with, but I mean they didn't do that. But I kind of thought that's the way they were gonna go with it.
That was interesting. For me, I always thought it would have been the gloves because you had the heel thing. So I always just assumed it would have been the gloves from the beginning because of how it was.
Yeah. That's true too.
Yeah, definitely. I took that too. I took that notion too that it was more of the gloves because of the whole hurt heel message and all that stuff. I think that the gloves were more of his, I guess, powers or whatever and stuff like that. That's what they were trying to go with. You know what I mean? Now we'll ask this. Being that he basically went on record saying that he didn't really care for all the extra supernatural stuff. I mean, and stuff like that. Do you think that being that he said that he will try to aim for this character to be more psychological and less supernatural in this movie?
Yeah, I think it's getting more psychological. It's more more in realism. He's gonna be crazy. He's gonna be doing crazy things. He's gonna be killing people probably in very disturbing ways, but it's gonna be all something that you're okay, that could happen. As horrible as it is, it could happen.
And if we go psychological, we could kind of have something similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre type kills, where he sews a bunch of different things together to, by stretching them out to make that mask.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this movie, guys. And like I said, I'm glad we don't have a lot of information on it because I don't really want much spoiled and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to see how this movie is going to come out, what it will be. Now, I'll ask you this. Do you think it's going to be a theatrical release or do you think it's going to be straight to DVD?
Oh,
it depends.
And if it is straight to DVD as opposed to a theatrical release, does that worry you for this movie?
Depends. If WWE Studios is doing it, more than likely it'll be straight to DVD.
Yeah.
But that doesn't concern me because we'll see No Evil 2, which I can't vouch on one. I was too young to remember if that was in theaters or straight to video. But I know See No Evil 2 was straight to DVD. And that didn't worry me. And that was a great fucking film. So.
Yeah. No, I will give WWE Films. WWE Films has some good movies. They do.
Yeah.
Condemned was really good. The Condemned was really good. The Call was good with Halle Berry. I thought that was really good. I enjoyed that movie. They got some shit to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just like
they could.
Yeah,
they got good movies. They got a couple movies that's like Chaperone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And stuff like that.
Hey, I still want CM Punk the movie too, a better version of the Chaperone.
Man. He killed Triple H with that line, bro. Oh my gosh.
No, I think the best.
DVD, just like,
I think the best one is when he fucking killed. He eviscerated Kevin Nash, and when Nash and Triple H were in the ring, and he's like, I'm acting. He's like, you really buying this crap? He said, hey guys, look, the Click's back together again. Speaking of Click, that's the sounds your knees make every time. He said, that's the sounds your knees make every time you take a step. And that's the sound the remote makes every time a fan sees you on a TV screen.
But that wasn't the only thing that buried Nash. It was also the fact that he was referencing his like niece or that. She thought you were dead.
Yes. OMG, it's Kevin Nash. I thought he was
dead.
And then to cap it off with Triple H, let's face it, Hunter, you don't wear the pants in the family, but I bet you sure wear her panties, don't you?
Yeah. Man.
And you want to talk about bully? You're trying to silence me?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we say you talk. He said you talk about bully. You are the biggest bully I know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's the truth. Man. That's the truth. Vince could sit there and put on a fucking front with that whole anti-bullying campaign, all that bullshit.
Yeah,
everybody who knows the fucking real Vince McMahon knows he's one of the biggest fucking bullies in the industry. How do you think he became successful? He bullied all the other fucking promoters, all the other territories into giving up their fucking ideas, into giving up their wrestlers, and that's who he is. He's always been
bullied them out of business.
Yep.
Yes, he's always been a bully.
Well, I do his own fucking father. Oh, I won't buy out these other fucking companies. As soon as he's gone, what happened? There goes the territories.
Just like Heyman said. Just like Heyman said in that promo. Your father went around the country and shook the hands of every promoter and said he would not compete against them, that his son would not compete against them. And when your father died, you competed. And with your ruthless, merciless, take no prisoners attitude, you drove everybody out of business. Didn't you, Vince? You ran all the competition to the ground. You took all their ideas and you made yourself a billionaire out of it.
But I don't care about them. You stole my ideas, most importantly. You want to talk about attitude? That's what ECW was. You stole my ideas, Vince.
He said you stole my ideas. You stole everything that ECW ever represented. Because while Doink the Clown was wearing a green hair and rubber nose, Stone Cold Steve Austin was having his first beer in ECW. Damn you!
Yeah. It's true.
That was everything Paul said in that shoot promo was the truth. And
facts.
I don't know if you guys ever saw his Inside the Ropes interview talking about that. Vince was fully aware. Vince was fully aware, and that's one. And I will always respect Vince for that. Is that he allowed another grown ass man to go on national television and literally air all his fucking dirty laundry out just to make a fucking rating. Just to make a rating. You know what I mean? Because even Paul said, much to Vince's credit, he stood there and he took a ferocious segment of some shit that nobody, I'm sure, has ever said to him, had the balls to say to him. You know what I mean?
The look.
No, go ahead, Dino. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the look on Vince's face, like in the ring. You were like, this guy's freaking unloading on me, but he's like, whatever. But it was like, you could tell he was a little pissed, but he was like,
Yeah, and what's fascinating about that promo, though, it wasn't even Vince's or Paul's idea. That was Michael Hayes' idea.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
On
the plane, Paul says that Michael Hayes looks at Vince and says, "You want somebody to do a shoot promo on you? Paulie over there rip your asshole. Yay, fucking wide.
Yay, fucking wide.
And then Paul says, Vince was literally sitting there like eating fruit or whatever, and he looks over at Paul and he's like, "Want to rip me an asshole? Yay, fucking wide."
Yeah. Sure.
Gotta give credit. For
man.
Vince for putting his reputation out on the line yet again, just to entertain and to flip a rating. I gotta give him credit for that, man. Like,
that's true. But also, you gotta give credit to Paul Heyman. If he didn't hear the whole John Cena rep thing, Cena would have been fired.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Punk would have been long gone. Punk would have been long gone too.
If it wasn't for Heyman.
Yeah, because he's a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, man.
ECW, the ECW reboot was supposed to be conceptually revolved around Punk being the main star of the company.
Exactly. Yep.
And Vince didn't like that idea, which is why he fucked Paul over and took over, and we got the ECW reboot that we got, which was a load of shit.
Which started off good with Benoit, but we know how that all went.
Yeah. I will say this. I mean, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, Bob. Let's talk conspiracy a little bit. Do you think he actually did it?
No, I'm on the strong belief I didn't.
I've always thought, like, I don't think he did it, man.
I'm going to bring this up. Not even the Wikipedia stuff. I have one thing I want to say. They say he was on steroids, but when you look at that whole report on him, there was no steroids. And then other people want to say alcohol. No alcohol in the system either.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the alcohol, you can make an argument, depending when they found the body and shit, you can argue would be out of there. Fine. But the steroids damn sure ain't going to be out of that system within a couple days. That's going to be in there for a couple weeks. And the other thing, I don't know if you guys ever heard Chavo talk about, but he was talking. Chavo was talking to him, and he was saying there was some weird shit going on when ISH was talking to him. The text messages, but that phone call, it sounded like someone was in the background trying to break in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we all know Chris Benoit. You could say he lost his mind. He was never going to harm his son. He loved his son to death.
Yep.
Nancy, fine. You want to try to argue with me? I can't really defend that. We don't know the circumstance with that. But you cannot convince me he would have laid his hands on that kid.
No, I agree. Yeah. And I always thought, once I did my due diligence, and the initial thought was when the investigation wrapped up, what was it? Not even 2 weeks. I said something's not right here. Yeah. I was like, something is not right here. You're not releasing a lot of details, and then you stop the investigation within a week. You know what I mean? Yeah. When there's actually viable evidence that could actually clear him. Point an example. Yeah. How the fuck did he hoist himself up to hang himself like that? And according, he was hung. He was hung from like his weight sets. You have to be held up in order to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and then not to mention the reports themselves.
No, go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, and also some of the police reports, the bodies were found. They have different ones that say the body, certain like Nancy's was found in this area, and another one says no, it was in this area, and then they were saying one even said that all three of them had the fucking like their chest pressed in. Due to I don't remember what kind of machine it was off the top of my head. If I would have known this would have been brought up tonight, I would have done due diligence to remember everything.
Right. Do you guys know about the Wikipedia post, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Now, was it 1 or 2 days before? I don't remember how many days before it was.
The night of the murder. That post got made on Nancy Benoit's Wikipedia that she was dead. And nobody knew about that. And the bodies weren't found until the next day. And I found it very interesting when they went to the guy who made that article for WWE headquarters, because that email was sent from WWE headquarters. He said that it was a mistake. He didn't mean like that was a mistake. He didn't mean to do that. I felt that was the shadiest piece of evidence that we got, because there's no way you make a coincidental mistake like that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, you just don't. And then when you're asked about it, it gets swept under the fucking rug.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I mean, I think Kevin Sullivan was involved, to be honest.
Oh my God, thank you. Fucking thank you.
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
That motherfucker. He can go on, and Kevin Sullivan, if you come across the stream, I don't give a shit what you have to say, buddy.
Here's to you, Kevin Sullivan.
I don't care what you have to say. You can lie and say you had nothing to do with Nancy and Chris and Daniel being killed, whatever. I'm not buying it, bro. The whole religious aspect behind it, Benoit wasn't religious. You know what I mean? Kevin Sullivan is a Satanist. So it would make sense for him to put that Bible and everything there. You know what I mean?
Not just that, the last words they shared before Benoit left WCW was, "I'm going to get you." Because he took Nancy from him.
He took Nancy from him. Yes.
Yeah.
And also about that Chavo phone call. Remember, Chavo said he heard a knock at the door in the background. And Chris even said, "Somebody's at my door." He opens the door, and that's when Chris got off the phone and said, "Chavo, I love you, man. I'll talk to you later."
But before he hung up, Chavo heard her slam. It sounded like someone was breaking in, because it sounded like Benoit was being thrown against something.
Yes. And I always took what Chavo said I always took it at face value, because him and Eddie, they knew Chris. If there was anybody that I'd say in terms of storytelling, when it comes to the story, it's Chris Jericho and it's Chavo Guerrero.
Yep. And if Eddie was alive, I guarantee you this shit never would have happened.
Oh no. Fuck no. You know what I mean? I even think, in all honesty, there was some shady shit done with Eddie too.
Yeah.
I've always felt that way. I don't know why. I know that Eddie had his demons, you know what I mean? But he was just about to celebrate, what was it, 2-3 years of sobriety?
I thought it was 4, but remember, I was
right, 4 years.
I was turning 10,
years.
So I could be off with that.
No, you're right. It is 4 years. 4 years of sobriety, and then he overdoses in his hotel room. I'm not buying it. Like something.
Yeah.
Listen, these motherfuckers are known to cover up shit. Look what they did with Snuka. Owen Hart. They're known for this shit. And I've always felt for Chris Benoit that no, he did not do that. Like I never felt that way about that situation. I always felt like there was some underlying. There's a backstory behind that. Will we ever find out? Probably not.
No. I'll say this. We will find out when we're dead, because I'm going to make sure if all 3 of us die at the same time, we are meeting Benoit first. We're not meeting Goddard first. You're taking me straight to Benoit.
I even got something else. Yeah. I even got something else for that. What do you think? What do you think about somebody coming out about all the dirty laundry in WWE after Vince dies?
That's possible.
Yeah,
it could be Stephanie now. Because
I was just about to say that.
Because he's fucking bearing her to fucking oblivion.
Like, wow. Like that. See, great minds think alike, because I was thinking Stephanie too, because of what they're putting her through. And we also know that Stephanie is known for standing up to her dad.
Although I do want to know if the Macho Man Stephanie rumors are true, though. You're going to hear that?
Man, I do.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm genuinely do think that's true. And
so do I, but I want to hear confirmation.
Right? I genuinely think that is true.
Yeah, hey guys, do you want to go to the old Benoit house? Let's go ghost hunting. Let's see if we can find the spirit of Benoit.
Right? You got to think about this. You got to think about this. Even the Ultimate Warrior, Vince made amends with and inducted him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, what he just randomly dies the next fucking day after the next night on Raw. I mean, that's fucking weird. Bro. And then the way and that promo, man, it sounded like he knew he was gonna die.
Like he knew it, right? I was watching him when he was saying what he was talking.
I think his family did come out. I think his family did come out and say that he was dealing with a lot of health complications leading up to that, and that Vince and WWE did knew that. They ended up knowing about that, so that's why Vince wanted to do that to give him his his induction before he passed, or whatnot. To give him, that last, moment in the sun. But that's my thing right there. That's my single greatest argument. We know how bad the relationship between Ultimate Warrior and Vince got. We know how Vince felt about Kevin Nash and Scott Hall leaving the company. And he still not only let those guys come back to the company to work, he inducted them into the Hall of Fame. There is no other reason I can think of why he would not let Macho Man Randy Savage be inducted into the Hall of Fame properly, unless there was some personal shit that happened behind the scenes that we will never know about.
Yep.
And you know who else? And I know this doesn't fall under shady, but you know who I felt got the short end of the stick in the last couple of years? The way Ashley Mazzaro went. WWE didn't even do shit. And I'm sorry. When I was growing up, man, she resonated with me. It was that standout. It was the attitude there. It was different than your typical women. And they didn't even really give her a proper fucking in remembrance. Nothing. I don't think they even did one.
Yeah, I don't think they did one. I didn't see anything.
They did do a quick mention, and they put her picture up on the screen, but that was it. They didn't do nothing like they did for Owen Hart and all that stuff or whatnot. And well, even think about this too. They did all that diva search and all that shit with Ashley and with Christy Hemme, but TNA utilized their talents better than WWE did. They got better pushes. They had better careers in TNA than they did in WWE. And I don't know if you guys know about this, but apparently Triple H smashed off Christy Hemme.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Hey,
apparently he smashed off Christy Hemme or whatever, and that's why there was a lot of speculation that Stephanie and Seth had something going on back then, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And somebody actually did a video, like a body language expert did a video on, Seth and Stephanie and stuff like that, and they came to determine, they're like, if something didn't happen already, something is bound to happen, because the way she would look at Seth, the way she would interact with him and stuff. And I want to look up the whole, I want to watch the whole interview. I never got to watch the entire interview, but Stephanie was on Howard Stern, and safe to say, Steffi's a little freak Joel.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh,
He's
no
a
question.
Oh yeah,
she's a freak. I want to hear her response to Howard's question about does she like anal?
Guaranteed she does.
I know she likes girls. I know she likes girls. So who's to say that, her Triple H and Christy Hemme didn't,
Hey.
According to Renee Dupree or whatever, Jim Cornette, when he was the head booker in OVW, him and his wife Sherry had this one couple that would go in their office and they wouldn't come out for hours.
I heard about that one.
Oh man. I will say this. I really like that Cafe de Renee podcast. I don't know if you guys have checked it out.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. I love it.
I like Renee Dupree.
He's another one that got fucking screwed in WWE, man.
Oh my God, yes. That is one guy. That is one guy from that time, especially when he burst onto the scene with La Resistance.
Yeah.
When I looked at him in terms of physique, the look, I looked at him and I said, that is a Vince McMahon guy right there.
Yeah.
You know who else was a Vince McMahon guy that didn't get used to that? Granted, I didn't care for him in both runs in WWE, but he showcased wrestling outside the company. You know who else? Chris Masters.
Chris Masters. Yep. Chris Masters. Yep.
Yeah.
Chris Masters. Yeah, I like Chris Masters a lot. I like the interview that they did with him asking him how he felt about Bobby Lashley doing the master, like the hurt lock, the master lock.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he said, I want to say that Bobby actually reached out to him and asked him about it. And Chris was like, dude, go ahead. Like, I stole that move. Who am I to tell you not to use it? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and stuff. So he's like very happy that move is still like alive and well in the company and stuff. But no, I actually agree with you guys. And do you remember Triple H buried him live on TV?
Yeah.
About the fucking steroids and shit like that. It's like, come on. How do you expect this fucking guy to get over when you're doing shit like that? You know, like
and I know they were a tag team, but another team, and they don't get a lot of mentions, was Deuce and Domino. I mean, they got screwed on their run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who else
was
you know who else was a good stable that and they were a collection of WCW guys, and I liked them, and I just felt like WWE kind of shitted on them after initially giving them a push? The Mexicals.
Yeah.
Psychosis and La Parka.
Super crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, super crazy. Super crazy. That's
Super
right.
crazy,
Super crazy. Yes. Oh man, super crazy was awesome.
I'm crazy. I'm super crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I loved seeing them guys come out on the fucking lawnmowers, man. Part of me wishes they would have taken Eddie's route and had like a fucking lawnmower lowrider, just doing hydraulics.
That's why I love that stable so much, because they brought in their Mexican roots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that, coming out to the lawnmower with the lawnmower. You know what I mean? I love that whole gimmick, and WWE just fucked it up. Like, another good gimmick that, in my opinion, kind of ended a little too soon in terms of stable-wise was Full-Blooded Italians.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good too. Like, fucking little Guido doesn't get enough credit for the job he did with them. Just like Billy and Chuck. I don't care what anybody says about them. They were one of the that was a really good tag team.
Yes.
Yeah. They're great, man.
Fantastic together.
Rico was fucking awesome.
Oh yes. Rico was the shit too. I liked Rico.
Yeah. Rico and Charlie Haas with Miss Jackies and Freak of Fashion. That shit was comical, man.
Yes. Remember when they did the fucking what was it? There was in New York, and it had Edge, Heyman, and Lawler, and I want to say somebody else, Cole, doing a live commentary panel, and it was like the Divas basically like a Divas runway shoot or whatever. And at the end of it, Rico came the fuck out with his fucking turkey peacock fucking hat sombrero, and he came out in the thong. And
bro.
One thing I admire, what I admire most about Rico is a lot of people don't know this. This motherfucker is like a real life like neurosurgeon. Like, he's like a real life doctor.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't know that, and like he's actually like one of the best in his field. And like, when you actually watch an interview with him, he's actually one of the coolest, nicest fucking people. I mean, you know who else is like that? Omos.
Yeah.
I watched a recent interview with Omos, and he's a genuinely good fucking guy, a genuinely nice person, man. Like, and it was funny because the interviewer was asking him, he's like, dude, I'm just so like I'm so surprised at like how nice you actually are. And he's like, well, that's why. He said, that's why I do so good at this gimmick, because it's not me. Like, it's not who I am. You know what I mean? And stuff like, and that's why he feels like he can tap into that gimmick so well, because it is the complete opposite of who he is as a person.
Yeah. And the thing about that, Mr. Kennedy / Anderson, depending if you want to go with his TNA run, I always felt he did better in TNA, but man, I felt he really got screwed in WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I can understand Randy and Cena having issues with somebody going harder, but you know what? The Undertaker never complained. He actually praised Kennedy for like doing the whole thing, like blocking in the turnbuckle net, because it made sense. Like, why is every time somebody in the turnbuckle always getting point and they're not blocking? Kennedy was trying different shit and it made it work.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
if anybody would have had a problem with Kennedy doing things like that, it would have been Taker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
Taker would have been the first one to say some shit, especially over a guy or over a wrestler not taking care of other wrestlers.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that bump that Orton took, that was a rough bump. But, those are going to happen time to time.
Yeah, it happens. It's wrestling, not ballet.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect? You expect Kennedy to do the French tickler to you? Just dance around you?
That was my shit. I ain't going to lie. That's my shit. Tickler. I love that dance. But it was a missed opportunity, in my opinion, for WWE. He had it. He had the in-ring ability. He could wrestle. But the biggest thing for me was that damn gimmick, Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Kennedy. Yeah. Like, a lot of people I knew were like, "Oh, it's so annoying." I loved it. Like,
I loved it, bro.
I loved it.
The top characters.
Yeah, I loved when he debuted in TNA, and he was playing off the crowd. He went like, "Mister," and like he would stop, and the crowd was Kennedy, and then he went like, "Ket Anderson," and then like he's walking to the ring and saying, "This other company won't let me chew gum to the ring," and he had a big nosed idiot telling me what to do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was good, man. He was really good.
Yeah, and I loved what he called his fans in fucking TNA, man. Anderson's assholes.
Yup. Hell yes. It's amazing because when you really think about it, when you look at guys who were underutilized in WWE or just they were utilized but they weren't utilized properly, they literally went to TNA and actually had better careers. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the writing in TNA was better for their gimmicks than it was in WWE. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen it with Bobby Lashley. You've seen it with Drew McIntyre. You've seen it, obviously, who else? Somebody else went over it. Christian. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when Christian went over to TNA, I said it right there. I said, you know what? WWE dropped the ball because this guy's a fucking main eventer.
Yep. Yeah. And they dropped the ball when he came back as well.
Yes. Yep. Yes, because he is a fucking main eventer. He is so good. He is so good on the mic, really good in the ring. He's phenomenal. I'm a big fan of Christian Cage. You know what I mean? Like when that TNA run, like and even Kurt Angle for a little bit was booked better in his initial run in TNA. And what I liked about that, his initial run, was like they kind of let him bring that ECW type Kurt Angle over, that extra over aggressive, you know what I mean? And I love that version of Kurt Angle.
I do, but also when you look at how WWE was trying to get him to stop the drugs, it kind of was a bad signing on Impact when you think about it. I mean, the same thing goes with AEW and Hardy. Hardy really should have taken WWE's offer, going to rehab, and at least try. At least try. You're never going to fix yourself unless you want the help. And
that's a fact.
Unfortunately, and I'm not saying he can't be him, but it's kind of like the Usos, with all this. It kind of just brings a bad vibe to me because that's how I lost someone, due to a drunk driver. And it's like, this kind of was the final straw. And I didn't want to bring that up to Carrie last night in the whole stream. I didn't want to be somber, but it's like, I can't stand these guys doing this constantly with driving under the influence of alcohol or anything. It just brings up bad past.
Yeah, like no, definitely, because I mean that should just be common knowledge anyway. If you want to drink or you're going to be impaired, don't get behind the fucking wheel of a vehicle. Yeah, you're not only risking your life, you're risking other people's lives. Like I'm big on that myself. I can't,
especially nowadays,
shit.
Bro. You can get an Uber.
Thank you.
Yeah, call an Uber. Hell, call your brother fucking Matt.
Yes. And it's funny you brought Matt up because he's another one who went over to TNA, and you've seen Matt pull out characters that we never even thought he fucking had in him. He showed charisma that we didn't see in WWE. Like with the Matt Hardy brand, and then Broken Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy was...
I say woke.
Yeah,
because Broken was WWE's little.
It's that WWE shit. I remember when he did that shit. And I said,
yeah, now
really?
he's big money, Matt.
Yeah.
You know,
Hell,
we talk about Jericho being able to revitalize himself. Look at how Matt's doing too. I mean,
yes.
I think Matt's a little bit better because Jericho's a little hit or miss. I'm not digging this whole wizard.
You're
thing.
right.
Wizard, it's weird, man.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it neither.
Next week he's gonna say he came from Hogwarts. I went to Hogwarts to learn this shit, motherfuckers.
Next he's gonna say I'm Harry Potter's father.
Dude, imagine if they ever remake it and he does play Harry Potter's father.
Oh my god, that'd be crazy. I'm gonna hit the bathroom real quick, guys.
Yo, Lord Voldemort, what, you want to try to kill me? You just made the list.
Yeah, man. That's funny.
It is, man. But it's funny how wrestling changes so much over the years.
Yeah. Man, back in the days when I was a kid, I mean, I was raised during the Attitude Era, so I was at peak wrestling, man. It was must see.
Yeah, I was at the tier, and I was more the ruthless aggression. But even the ruthless aggression, man, had its moments. It was still written very well.
Man. It was still good, man. Still good. But I was just there, like the Attitude Era, man. It was like you couldn't wait for the next episode. You just couldn't wait.
You really couldn't.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, and I know a lot of older school wrestling fans would disagree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, and I've watched countless hours of old school wrestling, and I love the old school wrestling too.
Yeah.
But for me, in terms of being entertained and always wanting to tune in every single week, the Attitude Era was the best time. And it wasn't even just in WWE, it was in WCW, ECW too. Because the interesting dynamic between all three companies is you don't know which wrestler from each company might show up in the other company.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I wish I could have been born sooner just to experience the Attitude Era as the Attitude Era and not have to go back to kind of rewatch it. Because I would have loved to have had that as the first time.
Bro.
Was amazing, man. It was amazing. Bro, I remember I would have WWE on the TV, and then I would have, you know, the remote has like the last button, so you go to the last channel you were on.
Yep.
It would be WCW. It would be so I would just literally, as soon as one went on commercial, I would pray the other one wasn't on commercial. That way I wouldn't miss anything from that's how exciting wrestling was. You didn't want to miss nothing.
No, you don't.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. And you know, I think what it is too nowadays, it's almost in everything, you know, on honesty. You know what I mean? Sometimes what it is too much money in a certain setting isn't good. And I mean, and I think that's what the issue we also have in wrestling too, is that a lot of these guys, a lot of these performers are getting paid top dollar, but you're seeing it even more now. They don't want to work full time. And
not just that, I think part of the other problem is AEW falls on Wednesday. It's not competition with Raw. And, well, okay, they did have a little thing with NXT, but that should have never been a thing. NXT was mainly developmental. That was kind of a stupid thing to do. But I mean, you can argue Rampage on Friday, but it's not on during SmackDown.
No.
So it's not really even competing with that.
No, which is why I laugh at when, you know, especially, I mean, I love CM Punk, but I laughed at that interview over this past week or whatever, or the week before, you know, with Double or Nothing pay-per-view when he said WWE can't compete with AEW. It's like, dude, do you understand how many times you guys have already referenced WWE? You guys are still catching up, and you will always be catching up. They're a fucking global juggernaut. You know what I mean? Like, you're not fucking with them. Like, you're just not.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And AEW,
I mean, you did fuck with NXT. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah. But AEW has turned into exactly what I feared it would turn into, another WCW. In terms of signing all the old WWE talent and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
that's why I'm really hoping Bray Wyatt, the whole thing is just a hoax and he will come back to WWE. Because if he goes over there, Because if he goes over there, guess what? Now you just took another AEW possibility future star and fucked him over. And even the talent that's there is getting pissed. I mean, we can sit here and say MJF is a work, but everybody, when I was saying Cody Rhodes is going to jump to WWE, thought I was mentally nuts. They're like, oh, well, they just bought out Ring of Honor. They're going to utilize that as a brand. I'm like, yeah, Cody ain't leading that. He's coming back.
Yeah. Even when I heard about those rumors breaking out and stuff like that, I said, there's no way Cody doesn't end up in WWE. Said he's going back to WWE. You know what I mean? He is going back to WWE. Yeah, I knew that from the moment that story broke out. I knew it. You know what I mean? I said, there's no way he's going to settle for being the head of Ring of Honor. It's just no. You know what I mean? He's going to want to go back to the big, he's going to be on mainstream cable television. He's going to want to be a mainstay, a main player. You know what I mean? And obviously that's what we got.
And unfortunately right now, because of the injury, we won't see him for a couple months, but
it helps his character.
It does.
I think that's some shit.
It's funny because before that, we were going back and forth. Oh, he's got to turn heel. After that fucking match, man, I'm sorry, you can't turn him heel now.
You can't turn him heel. You can't.
You can't do it now.
Not right.
He's gonna come back.
Not at this time.
He finally got his wish. He can be a baby face. He finally got that wish.
Yep. And that was smart of him. I think that, in all honesty, why he did go through with that match was to secure his role as the baby face.
Not just that, to shut up these marks that are like, oh, he only wants to go to Hollywood.
Exactly.
He doesn't give a fuck about wrestling.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I made it a point at that stream. Any one of you motherfuckers out there that want to sit there and say that motherfucker doesn't love wrestling, go back and watch that match and then come back and tell me that again.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. When he comes back, he's coming back as a huge babyface.
Yeah.
Huge.
He's possibly going to win the Rumble. If I'm going to put in a bet for possibly winning the Rumble, it's him right now. Yeah. If he comes back at the Rumble. I mean, we don't know when he'll be back, but if he's there, I'm picking him to win that Rumble.
You guys remember when Triple H blew out his quads?
And
then he came back to that crazy ovation. That's exactly what's gonna happen with Cody.
I hated babyface Cena, but when he had the same pec problem and he came back number 30 at the Rumble, that was the hugest pop since pretty much he turned face.
Right?
Nobody expected it. Nobody.
Right? Hell yeah. And it's interesting because he's coming back again. I think he's going to be on Raw the 27th.
27th.
He's going to be back. What do you guys see? Who do you guys? Obviously, I think they're going to be setting up for a match for him at a SummerSlam. Who do you think he's going to start a program with?
Well, originally I would have said Cody if Cody didn't go out injured.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to push him even more into that rear, because you still would have the split with Cena sucks, Cody go, and because Cody has the same kind of reaction. So that would have worked because you might have had a Hogan Rock 2.0 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That could have worked that way too. Oh, that would have been nice to see, especially if Cena would have been the one to turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
but unfortunately, injuries get in the way of shit like that. So
now I want to ask you guys this. You know what I mean? We say it's almost 2:30. I say we'll probably go another 10 minutes or whatever before we wrap this up or whatever.
Okay.
How would you guys feel at some point if WWE and John Cena, if he wants to come back for an extended period of time, if he doesn't have any projects to do in Hollywood or whatever, how would you feel if they went with the angle of making John Cena the leader of NWO like it was in the Firefly Funhouse match? And like rebooting NWO and he makes it his own group?
I would definitely be down for that.
I mean,
man, I would love that.
Yeah.
The reason why is because he's already kind of considered as, his generation's Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? If you want to kind of retcon that shit, you know what I mean, with him, it could work that way. You know what I mean? And stuff because, he is so beloved, especially by the parents, like the kids and all that stuff. Much like
he's still doing Make-A-Wishes.
Yeah. Imagine imagine that happening, right? And we get, that type of same style reveal that Cena's the leader or whatever. Can you imagine him cutting that promo on the fucking Make-A-Wish kids and shit like that?
Oh my God. Be insane. I would be laughing my ass off.
So insane. Like,
I mean, we would love that, but would them have the balls to let him do that?
Yes, I think Vince
that is a really good question, Dino. Would they have the balls to let him run on that?
I think Vince would. If Vince is going to let anybody do it,
it would be John.
It would be John.
Yeah. I agree with that, Bob. I definitely agree with that. If it's anybody, it would be John.
So if it makes an NWO, who's in it?
It's a good question.
I'm going to throw a really oddball. I'm going to throw an oddball pair out there, and I know they fall under women, but in today's landscape, you still can incorporate women in there. Yeah. For the hell of it, throw in Sasha Banks and Bayley.
Yeah,
that's good. I like that.
I can see that.
How about
the All Black? Woo!
How about for a guy entry, our boy Bad News fucking Barrett?
How about Finn Balor?
I wouldn't mind Finn.
And I'm talking about just Finn himself, not incorporating his theming gimmick.
Well, yeah, because of the leather coat and all that. Yeah, I mean, he could rock that.
Yeah,
he could rock that. Say so. Or, Wade Barrett, Finn Balor,
maybe
AJ
what about
Styles?
Finn and AJ to go off the whole Bullet Club? Yeah, the whole Bullet Club.
Yeah,
that could work.
I mean,
they
do the whole Too Sweet thing anyways.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah, that is very, very true. Yeah, that could work. I'm not gonna lie. I would be down for that, but really, for me personally, I would love to see Wade Barrett join John Cena just because of that dynamic of their history and past. And I'm a big fan of Wade Barrett. I think that's another guy. Another guy that can drop the ball.
Bad News.
That Bad News Barrett gimmick was fucking fire.
Not just that, when he was leading Nexus, that shit was fucking bomb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when he was the leader of Nexus, I genuinely thought that they was going to put the belt on him.
Yeah, so did I.
Like, I thought that they was going to do it. And when they didn't do it, I was like, yep, that's the end of his fucking push. I was like, that's the end of this guy. And, granted, he did have at least a decent Intercontinental title, some title reigns in Intercontinental. But he, in my opinion, he's good enough to be in the main event. Like, he's really good. And I love that Bad News Barrett gimmick.
Yeah.
I love it. I just love how the music hit. And he's like, I'm Wade Barrett, and I'm the bearer of bad news. I'm like, yes. Like that.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Yes, I got some bad news.
Can I have some decorum, please?
Bro, he was a man. I love Bad News Barrett. He got so much. He like people didn't like. I was like, "What's wrong with you guys? I like this guy."
Right. I was the ones we like that they always fuck over.
And I'm not saying these two guys would have been main eventers or anything, but the two I felt also kind of really got screwed over was Heath Slater and fucking Bo Dallas. You could have done something with Bo, definitely with Bray in there.
Yeah.
And Heath Slater, I'm sorry, that he can do anything you fucking ask him to do.
Hell yeah.
Tell me you guys
underrated.
Yeah. Tell me you guys didn't like his I got kids gimmick.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Oh my bro.
But you know what? To quote Brock Lesnar, I don't give a shit about your kids.
That shit had me fucking dying. That shit had me dying when he went up to Brock and he's just like, I got kids. I got mouths to feed. I fucking lost it. And then the next week, you see the shirt, I got kids. I'm like, yes, that is hard as fuck.
Yo, even his run as a tag team with fucking Rhino, man.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
Because he was like a free agent trying to get signed, and
yep. No, my shit is when,
and at first everybody thought he was going to be teaming with Jinder again.
Right. My shit is when the Authors of Pain, God knows whatever happened to those guys. You know what I mean? When the Authors of Pain made their Raw debut or whatever, and fucking Slater and Rhino was issuing an open challenge, and fucking Rhino, when Slater was done talking, he's like, "Yeah, that's right. We're gonna bust him up. We're gonna do it for his kids." Yeah, I fucking lost it. And then you hear the music drop, and they're both just like, "Oh shit."
I mean, the whole Author of Pain thing went from not having Ellering anymore as a manager to moving it to Drake Maverick, which I have no problems with Drake Maverick, but Drake Maverick leading that group made no damn sense.
No, and he's no Paul Ellering.
No, he's not.
Like, and I know why they did that is because Paul, he didn't want the full-time schedule because of his age and all that stuff. But man, they for all that, they should have just kept those guys in NXT. Those guys, I mean, granted, I know why they ended up, not being on TV much because they kept getting hurt. But man, those guys were good. You know what I mean? We don't even hear about them anymore.
Yeah,
like not even in the Indies.
Yeah, they actually came out with an interview. They came out with an interview recently. Yeah, and they talked about the whole, what the whole thing would happen and everything. Supposedly they didn't have anything for them, and they just like, okay, well then we're just gonna sit out the rest of our contracts, and they just sat out.
I'm smart. Yeah. I mean, fuck it. Why would you not collect money and stay home?
Yeah, I think it was Chris Van Vliet. I think Chris Van Vliet show they were on. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
It was either that or Hannibal. It was one of the two. It was either Chris Van Vliet or
Hannibal.
Yeah.
It was some, but I think for sure. I think it was Chris. I think I remember seeing him in the video with them, like, kind of how we're set up right now. Like they were all just on doing an interview like this.
Yeah, it's easy to mix up Hannibal because he's been doing so many premieres. I don't know which ones he's had on lately.
Yeah, man.
I just love how we have now an array of platforms to where we can get these wrestlers and interviews that we weren't able to get them on before, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I love Renee's podcast. I really like her podcast because I thought she'd be a little bit more censored, and she's not. You know what I mean? She's full uncut. I love that.
Yeah.
Her. You know what I mean? You got
she
Van
changed
Vliet.
her name.
Yeah, I think that's her real name, Renee Paquette.
Yeah,
but she changed it because what was it like oral sessions, and she was like,
oral sessions. Yeah, that's the channel name. Oral sessions with Renee Paquette. Yup. I thought that was catchy as shit.
He went on it. Yeah,
hell yeah. I watched
when he went on it. He was like, He was like, hey, well, first, the name. He's like, what are you doing? And then she was like, it's catchy.
It is catchy. I remember when I fucking first saw it. Yeah. Before I even saw the overlay that it was Renee, I seen it said Oral Sessions. I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, what is this?
We're gonna watch AJ Lee circle.
Is this some informational type of video or something? And then I seen her, and I'm like, oh wait,
what is this?
I'm looking, I'm like, that's Renee Young, and then I'm like, oh, okay, it says Oral Sessions with Renee Paquette. Oh, see, when you only see the oral sessions, that's all you focus on.
Yeah, so did you guys hear about the new some of the new rumors coming out?
About what?
Now, we all know AJ Lee had signed with Women of Wrestling. Oh. They're apparently going to be having a TV deal. What do you think her role might be in that? Do you think she might be backstage type essence like a manager or something? Or do you think she might come out of retirement like Punk did?
I thought she was already out of retirement.
No, she hasn't wrestled a match.
Oh,
you're talking about AJ, right? AJ Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know she was doing something with Women of Wrestling. I know she was doing.
Yeah, she signed on, but she hasn't had any matches. But they're apparently working on a TV deal here in the States for sometime later this year.
Yeah.
Do you think when that happens, do you think she comes out of for a match retirement and has a match, or do you think she'll be more of a vocal point just to try to draw people in?
She might, just to pop a rating, I would think, since it's something she really cares about.
Both. Maybe do like a one-off match, to really get the promotion, hitting the ground, and then I can see her transitioning to a backstage talent. I would like to see her wrestle though, like more. You know what I mean? I think for her, it's if she's in it mentally, but also physically. You know what I mean?
But let's face it, we know they ain't gonna pull no WWE shit. Yeah, that's one person you're not gonna want to fuck with.
No, she won't have it. She's not taking it.
She's not. I mean, even though they just came out, with a thing where I think Lee is the one that said it. She said that when she retired, Vince told her, "Hey, the door's always open. Whenever you want to come back, you can." Like even after the whole Punk thing, he was just like, "If you want to come back, it's fine with me." But I mean, I don't think so. Out of respect, because Punk in WWE right now that's a no.
Yeah, well, see, but then at the same time, I don't think Punk would really be as butthurt if she did go back to WWE, because remember, before he went to AEW, even though he wasn't an active wrestler or really signed to WWE, he was still doing content for WWE. So those fences have been mended a little bit, just a little bit.
I don't know, because from what I've heard, Fox was the one behind that, not WWE.
It was Fox, but the reason why I also say that WWE was behind it, because remember that whole stick with him and Seth. They were going back and forth with it for a little bit, and they kept name dropping him on their television and stuff like that. And we know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody getting name dropped on WWE TV if Vince ain't approving it.
Yeah, Vince has to approve everything. Yeah. He approves everything. If he doesn't approve it, you're not saying it. If Vince doesn't approve it, you are not saying it.
Yeah, which is just like he doesn't let the commentators say professional fucking wrestling, even though that's what this is.
Yeah.
That's
true.
It's sickening. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like Heyman told him a long time ago, what kind of man are you that takes professional wrestling and turns it into sports entertainment?
It's funny because you could tell like Austin, like when he would do like his podcast, he hates that they don't use the term wrestling. Like he'd be like, "You guys are wrestlers, right? That's what you do. You're wrestling." But like because he hates that they don't use the term wrestling.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face for all the OGs.
Exactly.
It's a slap in the face, because what a lot of these guys don't understand, and it's because Vince put this in their head that they're sports fucking entertainers or whatever. No, you are professional wrestlers with the ability and the trait that you can entertain in different ways outside of your wrestling. You know what I mean?
Wow, no, WWE seems to be more sports entertainment. Half these people they sign don't have any talent when it comes to wrestling.
Well, yeah. And also, too, you can see it in the fucking writing, too, is they don't have wrestling writers. They have these TV fucking writers. And that's why the storyline. Yeah. It's just like Jim Cornette said. This is why the business is in the shit shape that it's in.
Yeah, talking about that, I don't remember if it was in one of our streams or if it was on like Lethal Collective or something, but somebody had like made a comment about like Freddie Prinze Jr. being like Tara's dad, and I'm just sitting here because I knew what was coming up. And that came out, I'm like, oh God, no, get that motherfucker away from me. Ever since she did fucking wrestling writing, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze. I heard that he's trying to actually start his own wrestling promotion.
Oh, well, in that case, I apologize for calling you an asshole, Freddie. And I'm sorry for saying I want to fuck your wife, Sarah Michelle Gellar, to you on Twitter. I don't mean anything by it. I'm always available for commentary.
I'm sure Freddie has heard that plenty of fucking times. I'm sure he's heard that plenty of times.
But if you do that, if you hire me for commentary, Freddie, you got to hire Matthew Lillard so I could get him on Craven's stream. I'll do it live at the commentary table.
That would be a fucking epic broadcast right there. Fucking Matthew Lillard and you doing commentary, that would be fucking insane. Oh, man. if Matthew were to do fucking commentary, he has to open the show. He has to open his line of the show with saying, "Eskizo, Eskizu, Eskizal," or whatever. He has to do that. He has to do it. That is my shit. I love it when he does that shit on the screen. When he just goes, "Eskizu, Eskizu, Eskizal." I'm just saying, he's a fucking nut. Love Matthew Lillard. Love Matthew Lillard, man. He's a goat, man. He is so underrated as an actor in general. Like, he does not get enough credit. He doesn't. Like, he is such a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, this guy, the range.
And you know, I know it was in the Lethal Collective. They were asking about like what's your favorite like movies with Matthew Lillard in them. And I said Trouble with the Curve, and everybody's thinking I'm talking about the movie The Curve. But no, there's this baseball movie called Trouble with the Curve that he's in. And I just fucking
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yup, I've seen that movie before. That is a good movie.
It's like, yeah, I like him in The Curve, but Trouble with the Curve, I think, is just a little bit better. It's outside the realm of horror aspects, and it shows his range outside of that. Even like him in Scooby-Doo, I love him in that. 13 Ghosts is horror, but you know what? I think he was comical in that.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, Senseless. I brought that up with you and Jordan.
Yeah, Senseless. Yep, that too.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, we were talking about that, because it bombed at the fucking box office. It lost money, and I don't see how. I mean, I guess because of the time, you know what I mean? Maybe it wasn't the right time to bring that movie out.
That's what it was.
But when I look at the cast and I see Matthew Lillard, Marlon Wayans, and other high quality actors and comedians and shit, like, I don't see how that wasn't successful.
Yeah. You know, another good one with just Marlon Wayans in it. It was a movie that had Tom Hanks. I can't remember the name of it, but it involved like robbing this like bank. So they were staying at this like lady's house, and like they were pretty much digging a tunnel under her house to get to this bank thing. Yes, Lady Killers. That's Lady what it was. Killers. I loved Marlon Wayans in that one.
Oh hell yeah! Fucking Marlon. Like I said, to me, he's my favorite Wayne. He is a fucking nut.
Yeah, I remember growing up.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't remember it was MTV or that, but when I was like growing up, they had the Wayne Brothers show on like whatever channel it was, and I loved watching that before going to school and shit, man.
Fucking right.
In Living Color?
No, it was
the Wayne Brothers show.
Oh my gosh, bro!
Yeah, the Wayne show.
Don't get me wrong. In Living Color was a great show, but I think Wayne's Brothers is very underrated as a show.
I had the Wayne Brothers on DVD, bro. That's like one of my favorite movies. I mean, favorite shows. Bro, I love the Wayne Brothers. Bro. Oh my god. But Pops, you know, R.I.P. John Witherspoon, but Pops, man.
Yeah, Pops, man.
Yeah, pop, sugar pop.
Hell yeah. Fucking right. My shit.
Hell yeah, man.
Of course, you know, John Witherspoon played in Friday. And my favorite shit is when he goes in the kitchen and he looks at Craig and he's like, every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. Drinking all the milk and eating all the cereal.
I'm gonna have
another funny one, man, is fucking Little Man.
Yeah, that is good. Yes. That was good. Yes.
That's underrated, man. That's underrated, man. It doesn't get as much recognition as it should.
For me, White Chicks has one of the greatest moments in cinema history. Yes. When Terry Crews starts fucking singing Vanessa fucking Carlson.
Oh, my
yes.
God, bro.
I love it because I love how he's just looking at the stereo. He's like, I can't believe he did this. I love this song. And he starts going in. I'm like, yes, he is hard as fuck for this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Man, he killed it.
He's looking
at
that one. He's like, and I miss you. I'm like, yo, he is going so hard right now.
Yeah. It's the look. God. It's like everything, like the pause, and then he looks at you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Dino, while you're in here, I got a serious question for you. Would you ever, if we could figure out a way to work around the schedule or anything, would you want to do a watch along for one of the pay-per-views? Whether it be like SummerSlam.
I was actually going to ask you the same thing.
Yes. Oh, bro. I literally like no matter whatever pay-per-view you guys are gonna do, I'll definitely hop on, bro.
Well, now we're basically going to be covering both NXT and the main pay-per-views every month.
Yeah. See, the only reason I was saying we'd have to work around is I don't know if you'll now be able to do Money in the Bank, Marcus, because of the new work schedule.
Yeah, that is true. But what I could do is, in all honesty, is just set you up with it. And if you guys wanted to do it, you know what I mean? You guys can just go live on the channel and, you know what I mean? Still fucking creating content. And if anything or whatever and stuff, if anything, I can come in after the event is done and shit like that. And I mean, I'll probably check it up on, because usually what I do at work is I'll put the pay-per-view on and just like watch it while as I work and shit like that. So I won't miss it. So if anything, I can just come in after the stream and we'll talk about it and shit like that if you guys still want to do it.
Yeah, if you're down for that, we could do Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to check my schedule, but because the thing is, like, my schedule recently now has been like moved around. Like that's the only reason why I'm actually here today. I normally work on Mondays.
Gotcha.
It's like it's so crazy how I felt like on this day. Like, oh man, it's meant to be, man. Like I was meant to be on here.
Yeah.
So yeah, before you just let us know what your schedule looks like. You know what I mean? And stuff, and we'll work with it.
So Dino, I gotta ask you this: how does it feel to be on the opposite side of the chat instead of typing in the chat comments? How does it feel talking in person?
Right,
it's awesome, man. It seriously is. It's awesome. It's a little weird.
I kind of figured, Dino. I wasn't sure if like you had like a laptop or if you had StreamYard or whatever and stuff, because I remember you had said like you never really done streaming and stuff. That's why I was like, well, if you don't have a laptop, you still can use StreamYard on your phone. And that's the beauty of StreamYard, is that you can use it from your phone and shit like that.
Yeah, bro. When you guys asked me to be on, right, I was like, oh shoot, I just dropped my headphones. When you guys when you first asked me to be on this, I was like, oh my god, this is a dream come true. But I have nothing to stream on. I was like, what do I need? That's why I texted you like right after. Well, not text, but what's on Instagram. I was like, what do I need? I was thinking I was gonna need like this like StreamYard. I think I was gonna need like the webcam, because I literally have nothing. I don't stream, so I don't have like anything, and I had never done it before, so I didn't know anything. But I was like, okay, I have to set this up because I'm not missing this opportunity. No freaking way. I was like, I've been watching these guys forever. I was like, now to actually stream with them, I was like, hell yeah. So I was like, I don't know. Just luckily I could just set up this little thing here. I got like my little tablet here on top of a trash can with a pillow behind it, holding it up.
Hey, it works.
I got like a little,
as long as it works.
I got like a little light here.
Yeah, hey, it works, man. You know, that's why I pitched that idea. And like I said, man, anytime you need help, like in terms of like, and I said the same to Conrad, if you are like looking to do videos or getting to streaming, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to ask. I'll help you with whatever you need help with, especially if I have the time and stuff like that. Even if it might take me a day to get back to you and stuff like that, I will definitely help you any type of way I can. Like, and that's why I said, like, even like I remember before me and Bob started like going live streaming and stuff together. I remember seeing in a comment, Bob was like I don't know how to use StreamYard or something like that. Or
I think what I had said was, I think what I was going to say, I think I said because I didn't have a laptop.
Yeah, you have a laptop. And I was like, yo, you can use StreamYard on your phone. And shit, that's the beautiful thing about StreamYard. That's why I like StreamYard. I could literally be on the go or whatever to work or whatever. And if I wanted to real quick, if like some breaking news came out, I can just, hey guys, you know what I mean? You know, sorry, no music in the background and stuff like usual. This is like breaking news or whatever. But I just wanted to get this video out. Like, that's the beauty of StreamYard. I really like StreamYard a lot.
Yeah.
God, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. As soon as I went on full like streaming mode, I got a webcam coming in a couple of weeks. So
nice.
Like, all right, I'm gonna try to set myself up, man. I'm gonna try to set myself up for like to make this look a little bit better for me over here. You know what I'm saying? This was literally like last minute. Like I came into this room. I put this little blanket up back here to cover all the crap, and I was like, yes, okay, this is it. I'm good.
Fucking right, man. Hey, as long as you can make it work, that's all that matters, buddy.
Yeah, man.
In all honesty, like,
and you know, I had to make that like it was meant as a joke, but I was being serious at the same time because of the one comment you were making yesterday. Like, oh my god, like because I forget if it was Marcus that started bringing it up, if I did, or if it was someone in the comments said something. I said, you know what, be careful what you ask for because we might turn that into something with wrestling. Because I saw Mayhem, and I'm thinking like WCW Mayhem was a game. There was a few pay-per-views with that Mayhem in there. I'm like, be careful what you guys create because
right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm glad that Conrad. I'm glad that we had that discussion about doing this. Like, you know what I mean? It's a fucking good conceptual idea. You know what I mean? And plus, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was really excited putting that overlay together because I'm like, man, I do a kind of like a Raw style theme type fucking overlay. You know what I mean? And get creative with it.
Yeah, man.
And stuff like that. Like, hell yeah. Like I'm really looking forward to more of these Monday streams for sure and stuff. And let's just hope that along this journey of covering, you know, doing Raw recaps and all that stuff, hopefully along the way the content gets better on Raw. I am gonna I am thinking about turning Wednesday mornings or whatever, that would make sense because I work in the morning. But turning Wednesday evenings into maybe like AEW Wednesday or whatever, covering all AEW since Dynamite is on that night. Or I might wait. Being that obviously they all both have 2 or 3 shows. WWE has NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. Dynamite, and then AEW has Dynamite and fucking Rampage. What I might do is wait to have like a Saturday morning and just make it like basically like a weekly roundup covering all the each of the main promotions and the storylines, and then maybe Saturday morning, if we can all be available or something like that, if we all don't have to work in the morning or we don't have nothing planned, we can get together.
Yeah.
And do that because
if it's Saturday, I'm good. I'm good.
I was sitting there thinking about it like, okay, we're going to do wrestling content. It would make sense if we at least had one stream throughout the week where we're covering both promotions. You know what I
mean? I have an interesting idea, and this is just throwing it to stick at the wall for a second. And I know Bobby's not here to do this. Bobby could be involved if he'd want to, depending when he'd want to start. But you know what? I had an interesting concept because I've been doing a lot of watching like Cultaholic and things. What if, like, say, like for like a Wednesday, even if you don't do it, because we had talked about something backstage, which we'll do again, because I don't want to say it on live. Yeah. But what if like one of the things, like one of us takes over for a stream to do that if we want to do something like that, and we can kind of carry it, especially if there's some breaking news earlier that day and we can talk about it on that.
No, I'm down for that. I'm not opposed to that at all.
Yeah. Sounds good.
You see it all the time. Yeah. You see it all the time with a lot of other like YouTube channels too that cover multiple topics, especially. They have more than one person co-hosting and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I think that in all honesty is smart, especially, and that's why I don't mind that or whatever, especially if I have to work, or let's say if I do have something planned that is important and stuff, but I want to get this content out. That's where I can trust you guys. Be like, hey, you guys want to, go get some views or whatever, get some, get some more, some more subscribers to your channels. You know what I mean? Go for it. You know what I mean? And shit like that. Like, I'm not opposed to that at all.
I got you.
Yeah, no, because I was thinking about that. Because sometimes, like whole working thing on Sunday, me and Dino could take over for that until you get done. And which I know, Dino, that'll be a little nerve-wracking the first time for a pay-per-view watch along. Believe me, I was there with the NXT one because I didn't know what the heck was happening.
I got you. Yeah.
But that's the beautiful thing, though. Once you get into it, and Bob can even attest to this because it took him a little bit to like really open up and stuff on live streams and stuff. Once you get the hang of it and once you get comfortable, that's the biggest thing is getting comfortable. Once you get comfortable, shit takes off, man.
Yeah, when you go back, because I mean, granted, I haven't done a live stream on my own channel. I've been like live streaming on everyone else's shit. I haven't even had time to do videos or anything. To even
first
like
time
get
I saw you
used
was
to.
on Craven. Was
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I seen you. Was on Craven's channel, and it was funny too because I saw you there, and I was like, I like that guy. I was like, you know what, that guy. Because the thing is, I everything you like, you didn't say much, but when you did say something, it was like he knows what the hell he's talking about. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I like that guy.
Yeah, but it's funny because when you go back and you'll see like the live stream, like the first few, I didn't even have the balls to turn the camera on with my anxiety problem. Then it took a couple streams for the mask to come off. But Marcus can vouch on this one because he was part of the one where the mask finally came off. Everybody backstage was fucking shocked.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He took the mask off. He took the mask off and he had the drink ready. He was ready to go.
I was sneaking shots. I mean, I'm not screw this. This wheel ain't helping me. They call my name. Fuck it.
You know who else was sneaking shots?
That's why our ass ended.
Yes, that's why our ass ended
Carrie.
up out of the
I remember that one.
Fucking Carrie.
Everyone would be talking, and I just see Carrie in her little video corner, just whoops, slipping the little.
Like I said, to me though, the best was Destin. That goes down in history. That is
man.
fucking good. Oh, it was so funny because I think we lagged for a second and then it all brought us back.
Yeah.
And then Jackie was the one who was like kind of like pointing down.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, on my thing, it was showing him in the different areas. So I couldn't I'm half drunk, and I'm like trying, without notice, I'm trying to figure out which angle do I point at this guy at.
Oh my god! No, I'll put it this way: we all had our moments, at least a moment in that stream or whatever that we can go back and laugh at. Because like I referred to at the beginning with me when Craven's doing the introductions and my shit is lagging so bad you can't even hear me. And I'm sitting there all hyped up like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything. But my funniest thing was because we went to like 6, 7 a.m. Like I'm just sitting here because I have to set it up in the kitchen or I'd wake my grandmother up. The sun's out behind me. It's starting to peak up.
Yep. Oh, that shit was funny when we were about to get off and it was like 7 a.m. here and stuff. So it would be like 6 a.m. there where Craven's at. And I just come out of nowhere and I'm like, I got to be to work in 3 hours. So everybody else have a great day, getting some sleep. And Craven's like, Marcus,
man.
Working 3 hours?
And when I heard that in the chat, bro, I was like, wow, this guy has to go to work in like a couple of hours.
Yeah, but then the funniest thing, and this is off stream, like Maverick's having hangover, Carrie's not feeling good, Destin's hangover. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here and I drank pretty much all the alcohol and I'm fine through the day. I'm like, I didn't feel anything.
Right? That's funny because when I got to work, a couple of my at my old job now, a couple of my coworkers or whatever, they was like, we stopped by the stream last night. You guys are doing so good or whatever. What time did you guys get done? I said, 7 this morning. And they just looked at me and they're like, and you're here? And I'm just like, I got to make my money. And they're like, how are you even still standing? And I'm just like, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Ask the battery that's fucking running in my back.
And I'm in this group chat on Instagram, and like Maverick's saying he's all hungover, and like I don't want to say that I'm not feeling the effects because I feel bad, but it's like I'm 27. I ain't drank like this in like several years since the accident. I'm like, I'm not hungover. What the hell's happening to me? I'm the oddball here.
Yeah, right. Like, yo, man. That was so fucking funny. That was a fantastic stream. Oh, it really was. It was a fun time.
Man.
Yeah,
it was a fun time. And
it was funny with that because prior to that, me and you were talking, but that kind of really set the gears in motion because the next night, we really didn't run on sleep and we went live for our first Slasher Sunday.
Yep, that is true. That is very, very true. That was the next night. You're right. Yeah, because I remember, I said something in the panel. That's when I asked you, yo, Bob, you want to, have this concept for Slasher Sunday, you know what I mean, that I'm doing every Sunday. Would you, want to come on with me and shit like that?
Yeah, and I'll admit I was a little hesitant at first, but that's because I still, even though I was able to get rid of the anxiety was still there. But you know what? I went through it, and every Sunday it gets better.
Yep.
Every stream, not just the Sunday one. The watch along got better as we went along when I got used to doing that. I mean, when we first did was it? Rocky Horror Picture Show. That was a little hard because I was so focused on watching the movie, I forgot we have a chat and we're live.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's the thing. Like I said, it's just all about getting comfortable. Once you get comfortable with it, man, it's just you know what I mean. And the thing that we have, Bob, and you coming on here, Dino, and stuff like that, and even Bobby when we did this live stream with Bobby, what I've realized quickly with you, Bob, you, Dino, and now with Bobby is what we all have is chemistry. We have chemistry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like, especially when you're doing live streams and whether you're doing an interview with, a Nancy Ann Ritter or just one of us or whatever, you have to have good camaraderie but good chemistry to make the stream go well. And we have that.
I'm not saying we could do this, but just imagine if it was me, Dino, you, and Nancy at Ritter and Woodstream, we wouldn't be able to sit through this without being broken. We'd be dying of laughter with half our stories. We'd have to literally make sure it ain't set for kids.
Right? Hell yeah.
But then again, we run late anyway, so that's not an issue.
I really like Nancy Ann. Craven streams, getting to know her, you know what I mean? That is a real treat for me because I think a lot of us as fans of these franchises, we tend to forget about some of those smaller old people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how maybe important they might be to the movie, or just the fact that years past, it's like, you know what? I actually like that character.
Yeah.
You know what? Even though they didn't have a big role.
Instead of having to focus just on the Stu train, let's get her back in Scream, man.
I said
would love that.
In the chat. I said it to her one night in the chat. I said, like, why don't we sign a petition to see if we can get you a cameo?
I mean, I'd love for her to be back, even if it's for one small scene, man. I'd love to see her back.
You know what would have been lit? Nice little reference. It would have been a nice little reference to her, as if in Scream 5, when Sam goes to the break room to take her pill and sip the water, maybe she would have been in the break room walking out.
Oh my God!
That would have been a nice little reference. That would have been a nice little homage.
Yes, it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching.
You know what it is? Is that?
No, go for it, Dino.
No, I was going to say that. You know what it is? Is that when you get to know like an actor, like how they are in real life, and then you just like notice that they're just a good person. Like they're just like genuinely good. Like Matthew Lillard. Like I love Matthew Lillard. Like he's like no one has a bad thing. No one has a bad thing to say about him. You just want like. I don't know how you, but me personally, like when I find out someone's like that, I just want them to have like all the success in the world. Like I'm like, bro, get this guy to do this, get this guy to do that. Like I want him back in this. Like I love this guy. Like that's like my guy. Like that's yeah.
Bro, when I went to Horror Hound and I got to meet Matthew or whatever, the first thing he did was shake my hand and he gave me a big ass hug.
There you go. There you go.
Dead ass.
There you go.
And he was like, and he gave me a hug. He was like, "Thank you so much, dude." He said, "You don't understand how much this means to me." You know what I mean? And just hearing him say that, it means a lot because, and that's why I always say it. You know what I mean? And stuff like, in terms of like, especially, I always revert to him, like, especially with this whole Nev situation and stuff. Like, we honestly don't know how hard they have it. They could make a blockbuster movie tomorrow and then not have a movie for another year or two, not get called for a part for another year or two. You know what I mean? Those cons, and he even says it, those cons honestly save them. Like, in all honesty, that's how they are still able to put food on the table when they're not working and stuff like that. I will say this: I'm glad that he's getting more TV roles now. You know what I mean? He's starting to get a lot more TV roles than he ever was before. And because he's one of those actors that I'm looking at like, man, and Skeet too. Like, man, why don't these guys get more parts? And the thing with Skeet is what I realized about Skeet likes to do a lot of like indie movies, a lot of underground movies. Like I don't know if you guys ever watched the Netflix movie with I think his name is Stephen James and Lawrence Fishburne called Free Ray Sean.
Yep.
Skeet played a cop in that movie or whatever and stuff like that. And I remember watching it and it fucked me up because I remember when Skeet first came on and I didn't like recognize his face because he has the man scruff. You know what I mean? But that voice, I'm like, why the fuck does this guy sound so familiar? And then when I really looked, I'm like, holy shit, that's my boy fucking Skeet. I'm like, like, and it was just it was so crazy or whatever. Yeah. And I love movies like that. I love movies like that where the actor may grow out a beard or may look different. You know what I mean? To where you don't recognize them at first. Yeah. Then once you hear their voice, and then when you do recognize them, it's like, holy shit, that just made this movie that much better.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's how
you know what I mean? Like, I can't wait for Monster Mania, you guys. Like, I can't. Wait, Dino, are you going to Monster Mania?
No, I'm over here in Florida, man. That thing, where's that at?
It's in Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? We gotta kidnap Dino now.
Yeah, we do. We gotta kidnap his ass. We're gonna have to hit up Matthew and go get the mystery machine.
Yeah, we're gonna borrow that Uber to steal you
in the news van. Yeah, man.
What's up, Castellar? Thank you for stopping in.
Hey, welcome in.
We are about to wrap this bad boy up or whatever, but actually, before we do wrap it up, let's touch on this comment. Perry Saturn could give everyone a great match. His top rope elbow was great. I agree. I liked Perry Saturn. I thought Perry Saturn was really solid wrestler. It's just, unfortunately, drugs and all that stuff. He's another wrestler where drugs took a toll on his career, etc. But
not just the drugs. I mean, the drugs did cause him to snap in that one match, but that one match where he flipped on the guy just because he missed a spot, that really didn't help him in WWE either. I think if that moment didn't happen, I think he still would have been working with him. But unfortunately, well, you can't change the past, right?
Right. Dino, what do you think about Perry Saturn?
Yeah. I mean, I like Perry Saturn when I used to watch him in WWF. Didn't he have like a gimmick with like a mop or something?
That was the punishment for flipping on that guy. Yeah, they gave him moppy.
Literally, and it's funny. It's funny because they gave him the moppy and it was a punishment, but he got it over. And like literally, so many people that I know say that's their favorite thing of Perry Saturn. That's crazy.
That's that's a testament to how good of a worker he is. And some of these guys, like a lot of people, I don't think look at it from that standpoint. You know what I mean? Is when a guy is given a shit gimmick and he gets it over, that's called great work. That's
look at Al Snow with Head.
Don't get me started. That fucking guy is one of the fucking most underrated, underutilized fucking talents of all time. He was fucking phenomenal on the microphone and in the fucking ring. I love the second career that he has training these other fucking kids to be fucking solid wrestlers.
Yep.
Did you guys ever see that one match that he had with Triple H? It was for the title, and he almost won it.
Yeah,
there was this one match. I remember, like it always sticks out in my head because I was cheering so hard for Al Snow. It was insane. So he had a match with Triple H for the title. Everybody wanted him to win.
Yeah,
it was a good match too. I think he even hit him. Yeah,
I'm sure when I watch that match, I'll remember it. But at this point in time, I don't remember that. But I'm gonna watch it.
I think
I'm gonna watch it after.
I think he even hit Triple H with. Yeah. I think he even hit Triple H with the snowplow, like his finisher, and like I thought it was. I was ready to jump up, man. It was like it was a good match. It was really good. For some reason, I don't know. There's like certain moments that just stick out in your head. I don't know why, but that's just one of them. Like,
oh yeah. See, that's the thing about Al Snow too, is that damn gimmick was so good and was so over that people forget that Al Snow was a really good technician in the ring.
Yeah,
he was really good.
Yeah.
Al Snow was really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, he was fantastic.
And then you had that little rivalry with Jerry Lawler and Brian Christopher, and they fucking took a bottle of Head and Shoulders and put Head on.
I'm gonna listen to that theme song before I go to bed tonight. What does everybody want? Head. What does everybody need?
The whole crowd will be like, Head.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Right.
He had a pretty good match with Hardcore Holly.
Oh, yeah, Hardcore Holly's matches were fucking top notch. People forget.
I think they put like in the late.
Wasn't Bob Holly in the reboot of the Midnight Express?
Yeah, it's Bombacious Bob or something like that.
That's
or
right.
Bombastic Bob or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. People forget that Bob is actually a really good wrestler. He's just a douchebag.
He's a douchebag, but at the
I
same
like him
time,
as a douchebag.
I was going to say, but when you look at the gimmick, man, it just works with him.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
It really does. It does. That's why I like him as a douchebag.
Man, his Alabama slam used to
Flash made their opponents look great. That's another underrated fucking guy was S.A. Rios.
Yeah.
He had,
of course, Lita was originally managing him before the Hardys.
Yep.
With Lita.
That was, to me, he had the single greatest moonsault, even out of Jeff Hardy. He got elevation on that.
Yep.
Like, I remember even in the No Mercy game for 64, they literally pegged that moonsault after how he did it. That shit went so fucking slow. It was incredible.
For some reason, I always liked Billy Kidman's moonsault.
I loved when they were making that an angle too. Oh my god.
The shooting star press, Dino, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. The shooting star press. When Kidman would do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I loved it, man.
It's crazy though. You know who else who actually did a better shooting star press? And if you go back and look at it, I think you can make a case. Paul London, yes. If you look at the OVW days, Brock Lesnar did a fairly good one for his size. Oh yeah. Oh fucking yeah. That was his finisher in OVW.
Yeah.
Matt, there's fucking
that's what I told him to do it versus Kurt Angle.
Yeah, and that's when he fucked up his neck. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when both of them fucked each other up. Because Angle was a little too far away. Brock landed wrong, and it was a bad spot.
Brutal.
Yeah, and that's a testament to Kurt Angle. If you can honestly say, twice in Angle's career, he performed in the sports he was in with a broken freaking neck.
Yeah.
Because going into that WrestleMania, his shit was already broke. Like his shit was already pieces were broken off and shit like that. And he had to get surgery right afterwards. And shit like Kurt Angle, man, he has to be up there for one of the toughest son of a bitches
Kurt
alive.
Angle's tough, man.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's up there. Definitely.
Hell yeah.
You know who is good? You know who's a good big guy for his size? I'll throw two your way. Big Van Vader, or as most people know him as Vader, and Keith Lee. Two guys
Keith
you
Lee.
Wouldn't think would be able to do the shit that they would do.
Keith Lee is fucking incredible, and he's just been given a fucking bad luck string, man. Like fucked him over. Yeah. AEW doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with him, and he's an incredible talent.
Yeah,
and it's sad because he is a bigger guy, and he's not getting any younger. We're not going to get that same type of style much longer. You know what I mean? Like, it's a shame. Like, I would really like if AEW, if Tony Khan would wake the fuck up and come to his senses and utilize this beast the way he's supposed to be utilized. Like, I love Keith Lee.
I think he's just signing too many people,
I love how Triple H utilized him.
I don't think it's just him signing too many people. And I'm not trying to insult Tony Khan here, but you're a fan at heart. You're not really like Jim Cornette, like when he ran Smokey, Paul Heyman. Look, Vince doesn't know what he's doing today, but you know what? When you look at what Vince has done over the years, Vince at least you can claim he has a mindset for the business.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bischoff is a hit or miss guy as well, but some things he knew what he was doing with.
Yeah.
You can make that with Russo too. I mean, unfortunately, you could see he wasn't all that good.
Russo, yeah, I was about to say Russo.
I mean, you could tell Vince knew what he was taking from that guy because when he went to WCW, nobody knew what to take from Vince.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's just guys like Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff and stuff like that. Those guys are, they had success for what they were able to provide, but in terms of long term for the wrestling business, they there's a reason why they didn't last. It's because they're not wrestling guys. You know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, WCW he was trying to buy before all that snafu. He was trying to get that back. So we don't know fully if that would have succeeded, if that deal would have actually gone through.
Well, see, my issue with Bischoff is that he should have pulled the plug on the NWO gimmick a lot sooner than what he did. You know, he allowed them to get too fucking big. There was too many people in that group. And you should have just kept it the original OG3. Like, and storyline and also holding down the cruiserweight division, holding down talents like Jericho and Mysterio, not pushing them up the card and stuff like that. Like you got to utilize all talent. You know what I mean? That's what Vince did. And Big Show said it perfectly. You know what I mean? When he went to WWE, Eric Bischoff had talent. He didn't know how to utilize that talent. We go to WWE, Vince knows how to utilize our talents. You know what I mean? Like he took guys that Eric could have made stars, and he made them stars. Eddie Guerrero, like,
of course, doesn't help when these people, a lot of your big names like Hogan, Nash, Nat are burying these smaller guys. Don't want to put anybody over.
Yeah, that too. And another thing is, and even Scott Hall went on record saying this. Eric Bischoff was more of a friend than a boss. That can't work. That can't happen.
And you know, I love watching Nash and shit, but you know, the one comment he made with Eddie Guerrero calling him a vanilla midget, man, that still pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't.
That's like still people still talk about that.
Yeah,
people still talk about that. They're like, you called Eddie Guerrero a vanilla midget. They're like,
Nash is known to be a dick, and he's and much to his credit, he's real about it. Like he's just, you know, he'll let you know how he feels.
That's
you know what I mean? Like
Hey Nash,
did you hear about, before we wrap it up, did you ever hear about the story of him slapping Samoa Joe?
Yeah,
I remember that interview. They asked him about it, and I guess Joe came out and said that wasn't true or some shit like that. And Kevin was like, "Oh yeah, tell him to come on here and tell me it wasn't true to my face and see if I don't slap the shit out of him again."
Yeah, but hey, Nash, if you do come across this, you know, you really weren't all that great. You kept tearing your quads constantly.
I mean, man. I'll say this: as Big Daddy Cool, he had the look. He just needed more wrestling seasoning. That because a lot of people don't know this. Kevin Nash was a college basketball star before he went into wrestling. Or whatever. He was actually if he would have went in the NBA draft, they said he was a top 10 pick. Like he was a baller.
I could see that.
Yeah, he was a baller. I've watched some. I was fortunate to catch some of his old school college highlights. Make no mistake, if Kevin Nash wasn't a wrestler, he would have been a Hall of Fame basketball player. As long as his knees would have held up, you know what I mean. If he would have been able to play that
was a thing.
If his knees would have been able to hold up, Kevin Nash would have been a great basketball player because he could ball.
You know, when we're talking about underutilized, you know, someone else who was underutilized, Lance Storm, man. And as much like Stone Cold kind of had that one burial on him, man, when he was acting all bored and started sleeping on the ramp.
That's still people talk about. Boring.
I mean, I loved him. I get why people thought he was bored, but I still find him entertaining, especially in his little tag team with Jericho.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, yeah.
People forget.
Yeah, I liked him.
People forget.
I like Lance
People forget how entertaining. People forget how entertaining he was with Just Incredible in ECW.
Yeah, he was also great with him as well.
Yeah,
see, Just and Incredible's
I love that about Lance. I love that about Lance Storm, about his whole demeanor and character, because he took the fucking business serious. You know what I mean? He took working matches seriously. He wanted to put on a great wrestling match. He was a great technician in the ring. And he was a guy, especially given that serious look, that militant look. I wish Vince would have gave him a push, because I thought he could have really made a great militant type champion.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
People could sit there and say, you can argue and say, oh, well, no, he was boring. I'm actually on the other side of the fence of that. I actually look at this guy as like, you could have utilized him as this creepy militant type character. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having somebody look at Bret Hart. Look at Bret Hart. Bret Hart. Let's really be honest. Bret Hart ain't got no damn charisma on the mic like that. Bret Hart is very real. He's very, very bland, but he's a technician and he knows the business. You know what I mean? He's a technician and he knew the fucking business and how it worked, which is why Bret Hart was so damn successful. And I kind of think that in so many ways, the reason why Lance Storm did not get pushed in WWE the way he should have been is because of that whole connection to Canada and Bret Hart and all that stuff. That wouldn't surprise me, because, you know, Vince likes to punish other people for other people's beefs that he has. So, you know, it's you know what I mean? Because that's another guy that I would have liked to see back in the day get a nice big push and maybe be a champion, a main champion, like the guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many we can make cases for. I mean, it's ridiculous. When you think about it, it's crazy. I mean, Owen Hart should have definitely had a WWE championship run.
Fucking right, he should have.
Mr. Perfect definitely deserved one.
Oh,
you cannot tell me otherwise.
What? Mr. Perfect, in all honesty, you could probably say he is the greatest wrestler to never win the championship.
I'd say him or Owen. It's really a tough pick between the two.
That is a tough pick. That is because man, they both were so fucking good. They both were really, really good. I am not a nugget. Fucking love Owen. And why I personally like Owen a little bit more than Bret is because he had that charisma. He had that willingness to go outside of his character.
Yeah, especially after Bret left. When you look at that whole Blackheart promo when he was talking about how he doesn't care what they do. I'm only here for one thing, and that's to make Shawn Michaels' life a living hell.
Yup.
You think I'm worried about some worthless piece of plastic and tin?
Right. And it's funny because I forget who was telling this story. I think it was Pat Patterson. When the Montreal screw job happened, when the ref rung the bell, Jim the Anvil Neidhart looked at Pat Patterson because him and Owen were right by the curtain or whatever. And Jim the Anvil looked at him and was like, what the fuck is this? And Owen just looked back and was like, oh, yeah? And Pat's like, hey, I don't know nothing about this. Don't look at me. You know what I mean?
I call bullshit on that one. But
oh, hell yeah. Come on. The Stooges knew. They were all in on it.
Yeah.
They were all in on it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, I'll ask you this before
they were just Vince's boys.
I'll ask you guys this before we wrap this up, and I'll get you guys' responses and answers. Do you think Bret Hart was in on the Montreal screw job?
No.
I don't neither. I know Scott Hall, God rest his soul.
No.
went on record giving his opinion and saying that he thinks this will work.
Yeah.
Me personally,
yeah.
I don't think in terms of Brett and his reaction, I definitely don't think that was a work. I think he genuinely thought that the ending of the match was supposed to be what he was told. And when they did that shit, that's why you got him spitting in Vince's face like that.
Not just that. If it was a work, Vince isn't going to allow him after the thing to go like this.
WCW, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, WCW, yep. That there too. Yep. The spitting in the face.
Work. No way.
Yes, I can't see that as a work neither. And then the fact that also you can just trump this whole thing as, oh, this was a work. Look how long it took for Brett to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how long it took for him to want to come back to WWE. And even he said it when he got in the ring that night in Montreal when he came back. I guess hell froze over.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you it. Yeah. That tells you it was real, because he's not going to sit there and say that if it wasn't.
Yeah. Definitely not.
I mean, he made amends, but sometimes when he's still doing interviews, you can still see that he's still a little bitter about it. Like, he's like, you know, everything's cool. Yeah, but it still kind of messes with him still. So if it was a work,
will bother him. I think that and the fact that Owen died right after that will haunt him for the rest of his life. In all honesty, I do.
But also, I think part of that anger too comes from Owen's wife, because Brett even thinks he should already be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Vince, at least Vince wants him in, and she just won't let them do it. But she let AEW use his name, which I'm sorry, I don't get AEW using his name. He never wrestled for your company. That makes no sense in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to see a tribute.
I mean, well, it just that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. At least he's being honored somehow, but still, you know.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, man, he's never been in a WWE game in modern times.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's the worst thing with it. You know, what about us fans that would just like to go through that one time?
Fucking right. Who wouldn't want to play a wrestling game as Owen Hart? Especially if you're a wrestling fan, like, you would want to wrestle. You would want to wrestle with that character.
Definitely. Okay, CB makes sense, but that's still, so that's kind of, we can only go back to like SVR 07 if you want to go to the last game he was in.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, and hopefully, let's just hope if they were to ever incorporate him in a game, they don't make it to where it's some bullshit. To where it's, oh, you got to unlock him or do this and do that.
I don't know if they do a showcase where we relive the greatest matches, I'd be down to have to unlock him.
I just want easy access. I feel like he's owed that right. You know what I mean? Because we haven't had him in any games, and the fact that you know, his wife didn't even let his name like be carried on in a positive light.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Say we get Owen Hart as the high energy guy with that stupid gimmick, but in order to get like the Black Heart and that, you have to go through the matches that are the highlight of his career.
If you give me a version of Owen Hart that I don't have to unlock, and then I have to go and unlock the better versions or whatever, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I mean, I know it's kind of irrelevant, but I think like how I actually enjoyed doing the whole Rey Mysterio to get all the classic Mysterio.
The masks and all that and
stuff. Yeah,
but especially from the WCW match with him versus Eddie, when Eddie was trying to rip the mask off.
With the Riddler suit, right? Oh my God, I love that fucking suit, man. That suit is,
man.
Oh my God, that suit is fucking crack in a jug. Like, oh my God. Like, I remember watching that match or whatever and shit. I remember Ray coming out and I'm just like, what the fuck is that suit? That shit is badass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. He has some of the best wrestling attire of all time. I give Ray that.
And you know, someone in modern time who I feel really got the short end of the stick, Cesaro.
Yep. Oh, he's supposed to be coming back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There has been a report.
Yeah, I heard some rumblings about that.
That he's supposed to be resigning.
I hope so, because in 2K22, I don't care if anybody in the chat hates me for saying this. I gave him every single title possible. I just ran through in universe mode and gave him every title possible. As soon as he was fired, I'm like, screw this. Bray ain't in this.
My thing is with him is you had him beat Rollins at WrestleMania last year. You made it seem like he was on his way to get this fucking killer push. And then he races for the title, and then it's like a one-off, and then you don't see him again.
Yeah, and the other thing that annoyed me when they were doing the whole going back like for the anniversaries, and they used like the older themes when they were using Rise Up from SmackDown like 2005.
Yeah.
He was the last part of that intro. That doesn't just go to anybody. That goes to people you're going to be pushing.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah, the last part of the video package is supposed to be like your main eventer.
Hey, you know, we were talking about how everyone in the Money in the Bank, like 3 NXT, 4 main roster guys. What if Cesaro is a surprise return at Money in the Bank?
Yeah,
I'd be on board for that.
I mean, my thought would be to have more of a surprise return in the women's with Bayley, but with Cesaro maybe resigning, that might be bigger.
I would think so a little bit. I just hope that if he does come back, when he does come back, if he is coming back, I hope they give him a push. I hope he's really good. I like Cesaro.
Same. And Bayley, I'm shocked Bayley hasn't returned. I mean, what? It's been a year and a half. That injury's already fully done by now, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked.
I'm wondering what's going on with that.
Either. Yeah, I don't know. That is an interesting question. What's going on with Bayley? That's
I don't know if they're waiting for something or what.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Maybe she'll come back at SummerSlam Money in the Bank. We'll see. Maybe she could be a surprise return for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
That could be
Cesaro could be SummerSlam.
Definitely. All right, guys. Let's say we wrap this bad boy up. Guys, that went fast as hell. We've been going for 3 hours and 12 minutes already.
That doesn't feel like it. Feels like we've only been talking for a couple minutes, really.
Just started it. Or whatnot.
Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Yeah, it does.
Hell yeah. We was conversating like a motherfucker with this shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody in chat, Castellar, Ghostface, I see you stopped by earlier. I don't know if you're still in the chat. We're going to wrap this bad boy up for tonight. We appreciate you guys stopping in, sharing some of your comments and opinions. And thank you guys for watching us and staying up at this late hour. Greatly appreciate it. Do us a favor. If you haven't already, hit that like button on this stream. Share this stream. And afterwards, it will sit. People will view this stream after, the replay or whatever. So give this stream as much exposure for us as possible. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, guys. Everybody, have a nice night. And you too, I will see you backstage here shortly in a second.
Yep. Peace out, everyone.
I shut in 6 times.